Chapter 22:15. Musi understood what she meant. She was going to find him and ask him about it personally. Actually, before I came to find you, I had already gone to Xian City. But when I reached there, I was waiting for your news, so I rushed over. Sima Yue said, "Now that I'm calling you, you should come out. It's time to settle this matter." Musi lowered his eyes. "Then when are you going?" "There's no rush. Let's nurse your body back to health first." Sima Yue said, "Great-grandfather and the rest are investigating the Black Robe Men. Once it's confirmed that this matter is related to Xian Xiu clan, we won't be so passive anymore." When Musi heard that she wasn't going now, his lips curled into a smile. All right. At this moment, he was finally a little happy. In order to nurse Musi's body back to health, Sima Yue went to find a courtyard. The place wasn't big, but it was enough for them to live in. This was also found with the help of Zhao Ruiqing and the rest. These days, Sima Yue gave Musi acupuncture, diet, medicine, and various other methods. Musi's body was slowly getting better. After a few months, his body was more or less recovered. During this period, Wu Lingyu would leave for a period of time, but most of the time, she was still here. Siyu and 3rd Mo didn't stay here for long before they went to Ghost City. Sima Yue guessed that she went back to talk about the ancient Sacred Flame Order. At the same time, the Black Robe Men and the Chi Spirits matter was finally exposed. Everyone knew that this matter was related to Xian Xiu clan. At first, they didn't believe it, but in front of the evidence, everyone was silent. They went to Xian Xiu clan's land, but realized that it was already empty. Sima Yue wasn't surprised when she heard the news. With her understanding of Xian Xiu, he probably moved Xian Xiu clan away before she went to Xian City. Now, it only confirmed her conjecture. Musi sat quietly in front of her. After a few months of nursing, he had gained quite a bit of weight. He didn't look as skinny as before. He looked a little chubby. "Master, what do you think Xian Xiu clan will move to?" he asked. Sima Yue's hand trembled, and a cluster of flames shot out from between her fingers, burning the message paper into ashes. The world is so big, it's really hard to guess. Sima Yue didn't know where Xian Xiu clan could be hiding. In such a big world, as long as one had the intention, it would be very easy to hide. However, as long as the men in black are still walking outside, there will always be traces left behind. "I've almost recovered. Shall I go back?" Musi said. He was satisfied that Sima Yue had stayed here for such a long time because of him. He couldn't force her to stay here any longer. She had her own things to do. "Yes, it's time to go back," Sima Yue replied. After sending them back to the Sima family, Wu Lingyu returned to the Devil Realm. He had already squeezed out a few months to be able to spend time with her here. Now that the situation over there was grim, he had no choice but to go back. Sima Yue didn't ask him to stay, because she knew that he had no way out now. Not only did he have to bear his own hatred, he also had to bear the lives of countless people who followed him. Once they failed, those people were destined to be consigned to eternal damnation. However, even though she understood, she was still reluctant to see him leave again. She was in a good mood. Fortunately, after returning home, a piece of good news washed away the disappointment in her heart. Yukaluo was pregnant. Sima Yue remembered that the last time she left home, she wanted them to have another child. It had already been 2 years, and they finally had another child. Sima Yue looked at Yukaluo's slightly swollen belly and smiled. "Looks like I'll be an elder sister soon." "Yes, there's still 5 more months," Yukaluo smiled. "That's great." Sima Yue stretched out her hand and touched Yukaluo's belly. "I'm going to do some research on how to adjust the child body in the womb and let him win at the starting line." Now that she was still pregnant, this was the best time to improve his talent. If it was done well, the child's talent would be very good. This was something that couldn't be fixed the day after tomorrow. Hence, in the following days, other than adjusting Musi's body, she also researched on ways to improve the child's talent and physique. Yukaluo didn't reject the food that she prepared and ate everything. For the child, she pushed back all her other plans. She originally planned to accompany him until he was born, but she didn't expect that she would have to leave after returning home for a month. In her courtyard, Sima Yue looked helplessly at Dark, who suddenly appeared. Must it be at this time? She was just touching Kaluo's belly and interacting with the child inside. And when she returned, she saw this fellow sitting in the courtyard. The first thing he said when he saw her was, "It's time for you to fulfill your promise." Previously in the ghost realm, Sima Yue promised him that as long as he could stop Wu Lingyu and the others, she would cook for him for 2 years. After returning to the human realm, he gave her a small throne, but didn't mention this matter. She thought that he had forgotten. She didn't expect him to bring it up at this time. That's right. Dark faintly glanced at her. Then I'll go and prepare, Sima Yue said. Dark agreed. She went to tell Kaluo and the others that she was going to the underworld, and gave them the method to recuperate. Then, she went to tell the others. After returning, she said to Dark, "I want to take Mu Si with me." "Up to you. Such a weak person, it's good to train him and then return him to you." Sima Yue and Mu Si went to the underworld together. She came and left in a hurry. Many people didn't even see her face before she left again. Unfortunately, she couldn't see her brother being born. When they arrived at the underworld, Mu Si was taken away by Huan. Sima Yue returned to Dark's small broken palace. "After so many years, you haven't repaired this place." She curled her lips and said in disdain, "It's just a place to live." Dark didn't care about this at all. He took Sima Yue to the courtyard prepared for her. Compared to the simple appearance of other places, her place was much more luxurious. However, she saw some uncoordinated decorations here. She came to the crib and poked it twice, saying, "My mother is pregnant, but it's useless for you to make this here." Dark rolled his eyes at her. "This is prepared for you." "Me?" Sima Yue's mouth twitched. "I'm so old, I won't sleep in a crib." Chapter 22:16. She was stunned when she felt her pulse. Then, she was overjoyed. She was really pregnant. "I'm pregnant." Her cheerful look made her look a little silly. "I've never seen anyone as silly as you," Ming said in disdain. Sima Yue chuckled. Then, she remembered something important. "How did you know that I'm pregnant?" It had only been a month. She did not even realize that she was pregnant. How'd he know? Moreover, he had prepared a crib for her. This meant that he already knew. "You won't understand, even if I tell you." Ming did not intend to explain. He would not tell her that he had been predicting when she would be pregnant. At his level, it was easy for him to predict such a small thing. However, it would be too degrading for him to say it out loud. He was the king of the underworld. How could he predict when she would be pregnant? He would never say such a thing. "I know even if you don't say it. You must have predicted my fate." Sima Yue was not stupid. She knew it without thinking. "Oomph," Ming snorted. He did not deny it. "If you know that I'm pregnant, why did you bring me here?" Sima Yue asked. She had not shared such a big news with her family and friends. Now that she was here, she did not have the chance to tell them. "Do you think that you can take care of the baby there?" Ming glanced at her. His words were full of disdain. She was in the underworld. How could she not care about what happened there? If something happened because of this, how could she face the child in her stomach? Sima Yue touched her nose. With her personality, she really could not ignore it. This was the only way. Don't think that you don't have to fulfill your promise just because you're pregnant. You still have to cook for me here for a year. If you ask for leave, you have to make up for it later. Anyway, you have to cook for a year before you can leave. Oh, Sima Yue touched her stomach. She could not help but smile when she thought about the little life inside. It was her and Ling Yu's child. Unfortunately, she could not tell him this good news now. How would he react when he saw the little guy? The news of Sima Yue's pregnancy spread quickly in the underworld. Everyone was happy for her. There was an endless stream of people who came to see her. Sima Yue had nothing to do here other than cooking and recuperating. She could pass the time when people came to see her. But Ming saw that she did not rest all day and blocked all the people who came to see her. Since the Netherworld King had spoken, no one dared to come. Thus, she once again lived a peaceful life. Not long after, she checked her own pulse, then stood there in a daze without saying anything. Ming was basking in the sun with his eyes closed. He felt that something was wrong with her. So he opened his eyes and asked, "What's wrong?" "2. Yes, I'm pregnant with 2 children. Sima Yu said, "I'm pregnant with twins." Not bad. The smile in Ming's eyes deepened. Sima Yu looked at him and subconsciously covered her stomach, asking, "What kind of bad idea are you thinking of?" "You could be a little slower," Ming said. "You really have designs on my child?" Sima Yu's face darkened as she looked at him warily. "Why are you so nervous? I won't take their lives." Ming sneered. It was his first time seeing her like this. "What do you want to do?" "I just want to find a successor." Ming did not hide his thoughts. "I was thinking about how to tell you. Now that there are 2 children, I only want one." "No." Sima Yue rejected him without thinking. "The children are mine. You can't snatch them." "I didn't say that the children are not yours. I just want to choose a successor. Then you will be the underworld's mother. Who will dare to bully you in the future?" "I was just saying, how could you be so kind as to bring me here to nurture the baby?" Sima Yu glared at him. "If you want a successor, go give birth to one yourself. What are you trying to do with my child?" "Not interested." Ming looked disgusted. She wanted him to give birth to a child? He would be disgusted to death. "What if I'm pregnant with 2 girls? No one said that the underworld must be a man. What if they are not willing? What if they are willing? That won't do either." Sima Yue left the courtyard angrily. She returned to her room and slammed the door. This guy was up to no good from the beginning. Ming saw her reaction and smiled. He lay back on the rocking chair and continued to sleep. He said faintly, "It's time to cook." After a while, Sima Yue came out of the house and went to the kitchen to cook for him. However, the dishes today tasted strange. They were either too much salt, too much sugar, or too spicy. "Don't waste it," Sima Yue said when she served the dishes. Ming was not a master who would let himself be wronged. He also felt that it was not easy for a pregnant woman to cook. She should not waste it. Hence, he waved his hand and rewarded all the dishes to Black Shadow and the others. He even repeated her words, "Don't waste it." Therefore, Black Shadow and the others each held a plate of strange dishes and ate. They were on the verge of breaking down. Why were they the soldiers, the ones who were injured when the king and Miss fought? Sima Yue was even angrier when she saw that she did not trick him. Ming said calmly, "If a mother is always angry, it will affect the child's character in the future." Sima Yue was speechless. All right, she could not even be angry now. However, the anger in her heart could not be appeased. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. She stared at him angrily. Ming sighed helplessly when he saw that she was so angry. He picked up his chopsticks and ate the plate of fried food that was left on the table. His movements were still so elegant. He did not even frown. After eating, he looked at her and saw the smile on her face. He got up and left. What a little woman. However, this matter was considered to be over. Sima Yue accepted his idea. However, she also promised him that if the 2 little fellows were not willing, he would not force them. Ming did not say anything. He only said that they would be willing. That confident look made her want to go up and give him a few punches. She had been pregnant for more than a month, but she did not have any reaction. He thought that she would not be pregnant. However, not long after the twins were born, she began to vomit. When Ming saw her vomiting, he thought that something had happened and wanted to find a doctor for her. After knowing that it was a normal reaction, he would stay far away from her every time she vomited. It was too smelly. It was too ugly. Sima Yue understood the disdain in his eyes and rolled her eyes at him. However, before she could roll her eyes, she began to vomit again. Ming frowned slightly when he saw that she was about to vomit her bile. It turned out that being pregnant was so difficult. Was it a little too much for him to snatch her child? No, she would vomit when she was pregnant. He just wanted the extra one. When he thought of this, he was no longer conflicted. Chapter 22:17. Sima Yue finally experienced how difficult it was to be pregnant. She had only heard about it before and didn't think that it was very painful. She felt that it was a little pretentious for pregnant women to say that it was uncomfortable. Only now did she realize that it was easy for her to say that. However, she didn't feel that uncomfortable when she saw Yukelluo being pregnant. Could it be because of her physique? She had been vomiting for more than 2 months, and it was only when she entered the 4.5 month that the symptoms of morning sickness gradually subsided. Ever since she started to vomit, she stopped cooking for Ming. Ming didn't mention it either. Instead, he brought a lot of good food for her to eat, saying that it was to improve the child's talent. In his original words, their parents are already like this. There's no way to change them anymore. We can't let them continue like this. Seeing that he had brought a lot of good things over, she endured it and didn't chase him out. In the later stages, symptoms such as drowsiness also came. Often, she would fall asleep after flipping through 2 pages while reading a book. There were other discomforts later on, but she endured them one by one. When she entered the 8th month, the 2 little guys couldn't bear it anymore and wanted to come out. The process of giving birth wasn't smooth. Because they were twins and they were born prematurely, it was very painful. Ming and Black Shadow were waiting anxiously outside. Black Shadow asked, "Didn't they say that giving birth would cause a lot of pain? Why didn't young Miss scream?" "That's for ordinary people. She wouldn't even scream during the lightning tribulation. How could she scream in this kind of pain?" Huan explained. "That's true." Black Shadow nodded in understanding. "Did you bring Wu Lingyu?" After giving birth, she would want to see him. "I've already sent someone. They should be here soon." Huan glanced at Ming after he finished speaking. Although he said that he despised the 2 of them, he was actually very concerned about them. Soon, Wu Lingyu was brought over. He only glanced at the 3 people in the courtyard before hurriedly pushing the door open and entering. Sima Yoyue's body was soaked in sweat, and her hair was stuck to her face. She looked very embarrassed. A young-looking woman was delivering the baby for her. Yue. Wu Lingyu's heart clenched when he saw her like this. He walked over and grabbed her hand with trembling hands. He didn't know that she was pregnant with his child. He hadn't been with her for so long. She was still in so much pain, but he was the last one to arrive. "It's okay. Our baby is coming out." Sima Yue smiled at him, but she held his hand tightly because of the severe pain. Sima Yue was not sure if it was because they knew that their father was here, but the 2 little fellows soon landed on the ground. What surprised Sima Yue was that the 2 little fellows were actually twins. "Congratulations, Mississippi. You have a son and a daughter." The woman who delivered the baby smiled and congratulated her. Then 2 more people came in to change the bed sheets and clean her body. However, they were all stopped by Wu Lingyu. He was the one who did it. After Sima Yue finished tidying up, she leaned into Wu Lingyu's arms and looked at the 2 little guys and said happily, "They look pretty good." It was said that newborn babies were like 2 wrinkled, black, and ugly monkeys. However, these 2 little fellows were white and clean. They didn't look like newborn babies at all. Wu Lingyu looked at the 2 little fellows and didn't pay much attention to them. He allowed the people in the house to carry them out and show them to Ming. "How are you feeling now?" Compared to the 2 little fellows, he was more concerned about her in his arms. "I'm fine." Sima Yue rubbed against his arms. "I was a little exhausted when I gave birth. Now that I've taken the pill and rested for so long, I've recovered a lot of my strength." "Really?" Wu Lingyu was worried. He was afraid that she would say that to comfort him. "We're cultivators. This is nothing compared to the lightning tribulation. Why would I lie to you?" Sima Yue felt the difference between cultivators and those who didn't. In her previous life, she had seen people who gave birth to babies. After giving birth, the pregnant woman would collapse. They weren't like her. After the pain, she felt much better. People said that giving birth to babies was equivalent to breaking down the whole body and reassembling it. However, for her body that had been improved by little birdie and tempered by the lightning tribulation countless times, it was really nothing. He lowered his head and kissed her forehead. He said emotionally, "Thank you, Yue. Have you thought of a name for the baby?" Sima Yue looked up and stared at him. Wu Lingyu shook his head. "On the way here, I was thinking about you giving birth. How could I have the time to think of a name for the baby?" There's no rush. Anyway, they don't need a name now." Sima Yue said, "I've thought of a few names before. We can discuss them together when the time comes." "Okay, I'll put you down. You can rest for a while." Although she was in good health, giving birth was still a physically taxing job. She would be a little tired. "Stay with me." "Okay." Wu Lingyu put her down, then went to the inside of the bed. He reached out and hugged her. Seeing that she fell asleep very quickly, he kissed her forehead with heartache. Outside the house, Ming frowned when he saw the two little guys in the arms of Black Shadow and Huan. King, look at how cute the little baby that Miss gave birth to is. Black Shadow was holding a little girl. Her fair and tender appearance really made people want to kiss her. Huan was also happy to hold the little boy. When he saw Ming frowning, the smile on his face faded. King, what's wrong with the two little masters? Ming didn't say anything. He stretched out his finger to poke the little girl's body, but she grabbed it. At that moment, he confirmed the guess in his heart and frowned even more. This time, even Black Shadow noticed and asked nervously, King, what's wrong with the little miss? Bad luck. Ming said, bad luck. Black Shadow and Huan both looked at Ming, waiting for him to explain. Too bad. Ming didn't answer and sighed. King, don't talk to us in riddles. What do you mean by bad luck? Black Shadow was impatient. Seeing him like this, he became even more anxious. This little girl's fate is extremely bad. I really don't know how many wicked things her mother did to give her such a fate. Extremely bad luck. This was the first time they had encountered such a person who was born with bad luck. King, how bad is the little miss fate? Huan asked. To put it simply, if someone else gets a divine weapon, she can only get scrap iron. If someone else gets a divine medicine, she can only get the weeds on the side of the road. She may trip over a stone while walking, but if she does nothing, she may be hit by something falling from the sky. Black Shadow and Huan both twitched the corners of their mouths. Her fate was so bad, then would she be able to grow up smoothly? King, is there any way to resolve it? No. Heaven has its own plans. Only when she meets the person in her destiny can her fate be resolved. What Ming didn't say was that in the reincarnation of heaven, things will go in the opposite direction. There were still many things that he couldn't see through about the little girl's fate. He couldn't determine what her future would be. Chapter 22:18. Wu Xiaodao. When Sima Yue woke up and heard this name, she almost fainted. You said my daughter's name is Wu Xiaodao. She gritted her teeth when she said the name Wu Xiaodao. A fair and tender girl actually wanted to call her Wu Xiaodao. She really wanted to stab him with a knife. Ming looked at her with disdain. Who asked you to do so many bad things and give birth to such a bad daughter? If she had a bit of luck like you, she wouldn't have to use this name to suppress it. Sima Yue was speechless. What could she do when her daughter's fate was so bad? Stuff her back and give birth to her again? Obviously not. Thus, she could only accept the name of her daughter, Wu Xiaodao. Fortunately, her son was not tortured by him. They gave him a normal name, Wu Qiao, and his nickname was Yao Yao. Xiaodao Yao Yao. Yao Yao, you are a man. You have to protect your sister in the future, understand? Sima Yue hugged each of them and kissed her daughter and son. Unlike Wu Xiaodao, Wu Qiao's fate was extremely good. He would definitely protect Wu Xiaodao in the future. When she found out about the fate of the two little guys, she sighed. If only she could combine the two of them, her daughter wouldn't be so miserable. Unfortunately, the two little guys couldn't understand anything now. They only knew how to blow bubbles at her in their swaddling clothes. Let me do it. You have a good rest. Wu Lingyu took her children over. The two little guys didn't seem to like their father very much and started crying as soon as she came over. At first, it was Wu Xiaodao who cried at the top of her lungs. Then, Yao Yao also joined in the fun and cried with her. The two little guys were in good health. Their voices were loud and clear. When they cried together, they attracted the attention of others. Wu Lingyu saw the two little guys crying loudly. She tried to coax her daughter and son, but none of them could be coaxed. They must be hungry. Sima Yue took the two little guys back and chased everyone out of the house. Then, she began to feed the two little guys. Fortunately, she was in good health and had eaten a lot of good food. Now, she didn't have to worry about not having enough for the two little guys. After the two little guys had eaten and drunk their fill, they fell asleep contentedly with the smell of their mother. Sima Yu covered them with a thin blanket and stared at their sleeping faces. She felt like her heart was stuffed to the brim. She didn't expect that she would become a mother so soon. Their arrival was a little sudden, but it made her feel happy. As for Xiao Dao, he would just give her more protection in the future. She would grow up safely. Moreover, didn't Ming say that so long as she met the person she was destined to meet, then her fate would improve? As long as he was in this world, they would find him. Because of the grim situation in the Devil Realm, Wu Lingyu only stayed here for 2 months before leaving. Before he left, Sima Yue leaned into his embrace and said, "After I've settled the matter with the men in black, I'll go to the Devil Realm to look for you. No need. You just need to accompany the child. I can deal with the Devil Realm myself." Wu Lingyu didn't want her to worry about other things after becoming a mother. Okay, Sima Yue agreed. They could talk about the rest later. If the situation permitted, she still had to go. Xiao Meng's revenge hadn't been avenged yet. She had promised Xiao Meng that she would take her to the Devil Realm to avenge her people. Wu Lingyu knew that she only agreed now. If he hadn't finished the matter at hand, she might really go. So he began to think about how to quickly solve the matter in the Devil Realm. Although reluctant, Wu Lingyu still said goodbye to his wife and child and returned to the Devil Realm. Sima Yue raised the child alone. The woman who delivered her was responsible for the rest of their lives. Everything else was left to Black Shadow and Huan. Seeing Black Shadow washing the diapers for the 2 little guys, Sima Yue sighed more than once. The left and right messengers of the underworld could also do such things. However, Ming didn't know where he went. He didn't come back until the 2 children were 1 year old. When Dark returned from the banquet, he saw that there were all kinds of things that could be used by different professions. He walked over and hung a jade pendant around Wu Xiaodao's neck. This jade pendant can suppress her fate for a period of time. It won't be a problem for her to grow up safely. After Ming finished speaking, he placed an ancient jade seal into the pile of things. The 2 little guys had grown up very quickly in the past year. Both of them could walk and call their mother. Now that they saw such a person suddenly appear, the 2 little guys weren't timid at all. Wu Xiaodao even stood up from the table and walked over to him unsteadily. She hugged him and left her saliva on his clothes. Ming frowned when he saw the wet spot on his clothes. However, when he saw her opening her small front teeth and smiling at him foolishly, he resisted the urge to throw her out. Sima Yue snickered in her heart. He, who was obsessed with cleanliness, had to endure her daughter's saliva and couldn't even flare up. She was so happy. When little Yao Yao saw his sister's silly look, he turned his gaze to the things on the table in disdain. "Your Highness, Miss, you can start now," Huan reminded. Ming placed Wu Xiaodao on the table and supported her with both hands. "Go and choose what you like." Sima Yue also let go of little Yao Yao and let him go to the middle of the table to choose. The 2 little guys walked over shakily. They wanted to reach out to take something, but they fell onto the table. Xiao Dao pursed her lips. She wanted to cry, but when she saw that little Yao Yao wasn't crying, she didn't cry either. Thus, the 2 little guys climbed on the table and sat down next to the things on the table. They slowly chose alchemy, weapon refining, array stones, bone flutes, and so on. The 2 little guys looked at them one by one and stuffed them into their arms. Xiao Dao chose a medicinal herb and stuffed it into her mouth. She took a bite. Little Yao Yao, who was sitting at the side, reached out and pulled it away. Xiao Dao was unhappy and grabbed the medicinal herb again. But this time, she didn't stuff it into her mouth. Little Yao Yao chose a pile of things on the table and stuffed them into his arms. His mother had told him to choose whatever he liked. He didn't like anything, but since his mother said that he wanted to choose, he would choose everything. But he didn't like the jade seal, so he didn't want it. After Xiao Dao pulled a few things, she saw the jade seal and grabbed it with her chubby little hand. "How did you make it so small?" Sima Yue asked. "It's a divine artifact. It still has this function." When Ming saw Xiao Dao grab the jade seal, the corners of his mouth twitched. But he didn't say anything and let her take it and stuff it into her mouth. Wu Xiaodao took a bite. It was too hard. Her teeth hurt, and she wanted to cry again. When she turned around and saw that Sima Yue didn't want to talk to her, she held it back. She didn't like the thing in her hand, but she felt that it was beautiful and couldn't bear to throw it away. So she stuffed it into little Yao Yao's arms. Chapter 2219. Wu Xiaodao gave the jade seal to little Yao Yao. At a young age, she knew that even if she didn't like good things, she had to get them into the hands of her family. However, little Yao Yao didn't like the jade seal, so he took it out and threw it away. Wu Xiaodao was unhappy. She picked up the jade seal again and stuffed it into little Yao Yao's arms. Seeing that little Yao Yao wanted to throw it away again, she burst into tears. Little Yao Yao's hand that was holding the jade seal paused in the air. He looked at Wu Xiaodao and pursed his lips. In the end, he took the jade seal back and stuffed it into the pile of things in his arms. Wu Xiaodao immediately stopped crying. Sima Yue shook her head helplessly. She was only 1 year old and already knew how to bully her younger brother. What would happen when she grew up? However, when she thought about her fate, she couldn't bear to ask too much of her. Mother! Xiaodao was very happy. She hugged the things and turned to look at Sima Yue with a sweet smile. That cute look made Sima Yue's heart bloom. She reached out and hugged her, kissing her on the cheek. Xiaodao grinned and hugged her. She smacked her face, leaving saliva all over it. After kissing her, she realized that she had dropped the things in her arms. She pursed her lips and was about to cry again. Sima Yue coaxed her well, and she didn't cry. Little Yao Yao, who was sitting on the table, was unhappy. He threw the things in his arms, got up, walked to Sima Yue, and stretched out his hands to ask for a hug. Sima Yue hugged Xiaodao with her left hand and then hugged little Yao Yao with her right hand. In the past, when she encountered such a situation, Wu Xiaodao would cry and not allow Sima Yue to hug little Yao Yao. Later on, Sima Yue taught her a few times that he was her younger brother and she had to hug him together. Only then did she accept little Yao Yao. Little Yao Yao was very sensible in this aspect. Although he would also ask for hugs and fight for favor, he would never push Xiao Dao away. He was like an older brother. Sima Yue kissed little Yao Yao on the cheek and said to Ming, "Take back your jade seal. Don't look for us if you lose it later. Since he has accepted it, of course I'll leave it with him. In any case, I'll have to give it to him sooner or later." Ming didn't take the jade seal. "You're cheating. We agreed to let them choose when they grow up." Sima Yue disagreed. They can choose neither of them, but Xiao Dao gave little Yao Yao a choice. And little Yao Yao also accepted it. Ming smiled treacherously. At this moment, little Yao Yao had no idea that he had been betrayed by his sister. When he grew up, even though he was extremely unwilling, he still chose to take over this thing that he didn't like for the sake of his elder sister who was so unlucky. He wanted to be able to provide her with a strong backing when the time came. After capturing Zhou Yin, Sima Yue went to look for Ming. "I'm going back," she said straightforwardly. "It hasn't been a year yet." Ming glanced at her. "But forget it, I'll return it next time. However, you can go back, but the two little fellows have to stay." "Why?" Sima Yue shouted. "They're my children, so they have to follow me. Even if you wanted to take over your job, you have to wait until they grow up, right? You can't deprive us of our right to be together as mother and children. Who wants to deprive you of your right?" Ming glanced at her. "But in your current situation, is it appropriate to bring them along?" Was it appropriate? Of course, it wasn't very appropriate. She had to face a lot of things when she went back, and she still had to go to the demon world. If she had to take care of the two children and deal with these things, she might not have so much energy. Besides this reason, I want to keep the two of them because now is the best time to mold their bodies. If they stay in the underworld, they can get better resources. But I've given birth. It's such a big thing, but the family doesn't know about it. They haven't seen the two children either. I have to bring the children back to show them. All right then, I'll go back with you. Bring the children back in 2 days. You can only come back to see them after you're done with your work. Okay. Sima Yue was reluctant, but she knew that Ming wouldn't make such a request for no reason. It wouldn't be good for them to be interrupted in the middle of molding their bodies. And the process was very painful. As a mother, she would definitely feel terrible if she saw it. She might do something that would make all the previous efforts go to waste. So he wouldn't let her see the two children easily. But if he did that, he would be letting the two children down. You don't have to worry that they won't recognize you when they see you. I'll show them your image and let them know what you're doing. Ming felt that he was very generous. Sima Yue brought the two children back to the Sima family. The Sima family was in an uproar all of a sudden. She actually gave birth to children. The Sima family was very excited, but the elders' faces were dark the whole time. That bastard. He actually let you give birth to children behind our backs. The next time I see him, I'll definitely beat him up until he's unrecognizable. Sima Lai was still scolding Wu Lingyu a second ago, but in the next second, he took Wu Xiao Dao with a smile. Wu Xiao Dao was curious about everything at this time. When she saw the beard by his lips, she stretched out her small hand to grab it. Moreover, her strength was especially strong, and she really managed to grab one of them in one go. Ioyo, this little guy is very strong. Sima Lai cried out, but his face was smiling happily. Sima Ji Yuan hugged Wu Qiao, and the little guy quietly looked at the people in the house. Facing so many strangers, he wasn't afraid at all. His temperament was completely different from his sister's. Where's father and mother? Sima Yue didn't see Sima Lu Xian and Yuka Luo and asked. They're taking care of Zi Hao. I've already sent someone to inform them. Huang Ying said. How's little brother's health? Very good. There's no such situation. He doesn't have two attributes in his body. Huang Ying knew what she meant. She was worried that the situation would happen. That's good. Sister. Sister. A childish voice came from outside. Then a small figure ran in from outside. After looking around the house, he directly threw himself into Yue's arms. Sima Yue hugged him, carried him up, and kissed him. What a smart little guy. He kept saying that he wanted to see sister, and now he finally saw you. So, these were his two grandsons and granddaughters. Let me hug them. Yuka Luo smiled as she walked in. When she saw Sima Lai and the others carrying the child, she quickly walked over and took little Yao Yao from Sima Ji Yuan's hands. Wu Xiao Dao, who was at the side, saw her mother carrying another child and started crying. When little Yao Yao saw her sister crying, she also started crying. And when Sima Zihao saw his mother carrying another child, he also started crying. In a moment, the house was filled with the cries of the three children. Chapter 22-20. After coaxing the three children, the house finally quieted down. However, Sima Yue and Yuka Luo did not dare to carry the other children. How are things with the Xian Qiu family? Sima Yue placed Xiao Dao and Xiao Yao Yao on the ground. Perhaps they were worried that Sima Zihao would come and snatch their mother away. Each of them hugged one of her legs and did not go outside to play. You don't have to worry about this. They have already formed the Anti-Black Robe Men Alliance. The Black Robe Men's matter has been dug out bit by bit. It is not so difficult to deal with them. The most difficult thing was that you were in the open while the enemy was in the dark. The other party could catch you off guard, but you had no direction to attack. Now that they knew about the Xian Qiu family, although they had disappeared, it was much easier this time. There were still many powers in this world. If everyone worked together, it would not be so difficult to deal with them. At least in these 2 years, the Black Robe Men had less time to cause trouble. Sometimes they would even find the Black Robe Men's nest and take the initiative to attack. You have 2 children now. Wu Lingyu is not around, so you have to spend more time taking care of them. I will pick 2 girls for you later. How can an lay be enough? Sima Ji Yuan said. There is no need. The children will not be left at home. Sima Yue shook her head. What? Why? Sima Yue touched the heads of the 2 little fellows and said reluctantly, they will stay in the underworld for a few years. Ming will come and take them back in 2 days. Why? You don't have time to take care of the 2 little fellows. Leave them to family. We will definitely nurture them well. Why must you send them to the underworld? Huang Ying said unhappily. Sima Yue told them about Wu Xiao Dao's bad fate and Xiao Yao Yao taking the Jade Seal. At the same time, she also told them about Ming's plans. When everyone heard her words, they opened their mouths but did not say anything. Xiao Dao was such a cute girl, but she actually had a bad fate. As if to prove her words, Xiao Dao let go of her mother's leg and hid behind a play. The flower rack that was fine suddenly tilted and the vase on it fell down. Bang! The vase fell to the ground with a crisp sound. Everyone looked over and saw Xiao Dao frowning at the broken pieces on the ground. She did not know why the vase suddenly broke beside her. Sima Yu walked over, released the spatial seal, and picked up a little knife. Things like this happen all the time. Ever since she learned how to crawl, she has to be extra careful. Sima Yu hugged Wu Xiao Dao and sat back down. When she was 1 year old, Hades found this jade pendant for her, and she got better. Everyone looked at the vase shelf. If it wasn't for the fact that the vase was gone, they wouldn't have known what had just happened. Is there a way to resolve it? It's said that you have to meet the person in your life to resolve it. Sima Yu continued. If you're with me, my fate will be suppressed a little. With him is to be with him. It, to be. Be to be. If she was with others, they would probably be unlucky too. Seeing them all frowning, Sima Yu smiled and said, you don't have to worry too much. When things reach an extreme, they will move in the opposite direction. I believe that little dagger must have great luck waiting for him. I hope so. Knowing this, they did not object to Ming taking the children away. Compared to their love for the children, their lives and future were more important. Knowing that the two children would not stay at home for long, everyone surrounded them for the past 2 days. Little Yao Yao quietly allowed everyone to hug him. Wu Xiaodao was much more mischievous. She wanted to come down after being hugged for a while, but as soon as she landed, she was in all kinds of bad luck. She either bumped into herself or the people around her. Only now did everyone realize just how bad her fate was. But what was more surprising was that Wu Xiaodao was very safe when she was with Sima Yue or when she was alone with Xiao Yao Yao. As long as Xiao Yao Yao held her hand, she would be safe. This meant that Xiao Yao Yao's fate was very good. 2 days later, Ming came over on time. He left Black Shadow and Huan behind and took the 2 children away. What you saw in Crazy Wife. 5th Misgodly Doctor Chapter 2220. Crazy Wife, the anti-theft mode has been activated. Only the first half of the chapter is not connected to the previous chapter. Please search the hidden parts on Baidu, Heartless plus Water. Then search Crazy Wife. 5th Misgodly Doctor. Watch. Chapter 2221. Yue, why are you leaving so soon? Sima Lu Xian came in from outside and asked Sima Yue after hearing what Luo said. I had a nightmare again today. Sima Yue fedzi how another mouthful and continued. I could feel in my dream that his strength has increased a lot in the past 2 years. He should know that I would have such a dream. You want to find Xian Xiuhi? Luo asked. I want to find the power left behind by Emperor Qing Dao. Sima Yue said. I want to inherit more things and see if I can find a way to deal with him. See if I can find out where he is. She understood clearly in the past 2 days. Although these people found many people from Xian Xiu family, no one had seen Xian Xiuhi in the past 2 years. The Guild Alliance and Xian Yuan Pavilion did everything they could, but they couldn't find any trace of him. So, to find him, they might have to start from the connection between her and him. Seems like you've made up your mind. Luo saw her son waving his little hand at her and reached out to take him. Yes, my intuition tells me that if we don't find him soon, things will be troublesome. Sima Yue said, so I want to find him as soon as possible. Since you've decided, we won't stop you, as long as you bring those few people with you. Sima Lu Xian reminded her. I will. Sima Yue cherished her life more than before because she not only had her family and lover, she also had children. So nothing must happen to her, otherwise Xiao Dao and Xiao Yao Yao would lose their mother. Although the Sima family was used to her coming and going in a hurry, they were still reluctant to part with her so suddenly. After she left, Huang Yingying's eyes were red and said, This child, when will it end? There will always be someone who won't be so busy. Sima Lai hugged her shoulder. She is deeply involved in this matter and can only face it head-on. Once this matter is settled, she will be more free. How can it be so easy for her? I heard her say that she wanted to go to the devil realm that day. Huang Yingying really cared for her. This child, how heartbreaking. After Sima Yue left the Sima family, she didn't immediately search for the items left behind by Emperor Qing Dao. Instead, she went to the inner regions of Paramount Valley. Seeing her, Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi were very excited. Why didn't you say anything before you came back? Yukaluo put down the things in her hands and went up to give her a big hug. Why are you here alone? We're a little nephew and little niece. Shimin Feng saw that she was alone, looked behind her, and asked with a frown. They were brought to the underworld by Ming. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Where is little Junjun? He's molding his body. This is a critical period. Yukaluo asked. What's going on? Why did you leave them in the netherworld? Sima Yue explained the matter. Shimin Feng and Yukaluo understood, but they were also sad that they couldn't see their nephew and niece. You'll see them eventually. Sima Yue missed them too, but it was useless. She had to go through this process. She had to settle the things in her hands quickly so that she could see her two children quickly. So, she walked around the valley and left after meeting the people in the valley. She came and went for less than 2 days. Unfortunately, Bei Gong, Ziqi, and the rest were out on a mission and weren't in the valley. After that, she went to Heartbroken Cliff. She first met Liang Wu Ming and Old Man Devil. Then she met Old Bai and the rest. She also met Shi Qiu Shuang and the rest. They didn't go to her birthday party previously. After sleeping for so long, so many things happened after she woke up. She didn't have the chance to catch up with them properly. When she came out of Paramount Valley, she followed the map in her head and started to search for the ancient tombs left behind by Emperor Qingdao. She studied the map carefully and found more than 10 places scattered in the middle, inner, and outer regions. There were even 2 places in the divine territory. At this time, she sighed. Luckily, she had the small throne now. Otherwise, she would have to spend a few years on the journey. The first tomb wasn't very far from Paramount Valley, but it wasn't very big either. There wasn't much energy left behind. She spent a month to finish absorbing it. After absorbing it, she unknowingly entered the dream again. She kept running, but this time, she wasn't panicking or afraid. Instead, she was like a bystander. However, when that hand pierced her heart and dug it out, she still felt a sharp pain and the deepest despair. The moment she opened her eyes, there was still a remnant of fear in her eyes. However, the time it took to recover was much shorter than before. In the second tomb, after absorbing it, she entered the dream again. This time, her feelings were even fainter. And this time, she could look straight into that pair of eyes. The eyes were still so beautiful. Every eyelash was still so curly and seductive. However, that pair of eyes no longer had the gentleness and warmth from before. There was only evil. However, this time, they stopped looking at each other the moment her heart was dug out. Xianxiu, he looked at the boiling hot heart in his hand and smiled evilly. Then he put it to his mouth and ate it. He grinned and his mouth was full of blood. Not bad this time. You can look into my eyes. It seems that you have improved a lot in this month. Hee. Sima Yue opened her eyes. When she thought of the pair of eyes as she looked into the memories of Xianxiu, he surged up. She clenched her fists and her eyes were filled with intense hatred. Xianxiu he, the cultured and elegant Xianxiu he, had actually become like this. She would definitely pull it out from his body. Not a single bit would be left in his body. In the third tomb, the fourth tomb, the fifth, and the sixth tomb, after she had absorbed more than half of the energy, she could no longer feel the emotions of those people in the dream. She was just a pure bystander. She watched as Xianxiu, he chased those girls in the dream. She watched as they ran away in a panic. She watched as he stretched his hand into those girls' hands and dug out their hearts. She watched as he ate those hearts bite by bite. She also heard his unbridled laughter and arrogant provocation. Sima Yue, I know you can hear me. Do you really want to find me and kill me now? Sima Yue was so angry that she wanted to clench her fists. However, she realized that she couldn't move at all. It was as if she was just a strand of consciousness that was listening. You're very smart. You know that this can strengthen the connection between us. So, if you want to find me, continue to work hard and improve yourself. When you can see clearly where I am, you can come and find me. Sima Yue, I can't wait for you. Ha ha. Chapter 22:22. In the underworld, Ming threw the two little fellows into a pool. The two little fellows cried for their mother. Ming stood by the pool and said, "It's impossible for you to get up now, but if you stay here obediently for a quarter of an hour today, I'll show you what your mother is doing now. How about it?" After half a year of contact, Wu Xiaodao and the others already knew that he was a man of his word. Even if they made a fuss today, he would let them stay for a long time. If they stayed quietly, they would be able to see what their mother was doing. With this comparison, the two little fellows stopped making a fuss. "You said that you'll let us see our mother when we're done." Little Yao Yao spoke very smoothly now. "A gentleman keeps his word. You're not a gentleman." Wu Xiaodao pouted and added. Ming, the surrounding people lowered their heads. The little miss was not even 2 years old, but her ability to add insult seemed to be innate. They wondered if it was related to her name. Ming squatted down and poked her head. "Are you telling me that if you stay well, I won't let you see your mother after you come out?" Wu Xiaodao immediately changed her look of disdain and looked at Ming with a smile. She said obsequiously, "Uncle Ming is the best uncle. It doesn't matter if I'm a gentleman or not, right?" Ming stared at her. "Who taught you all this?" Wu Xiaodao blinked innocently. "Who taught her what?" Ming stood up and threw a shadow stone to the guard beside him. "Pick them up after a quarter of an hour and show them this. If they haven't stayed long enough, don't let them see it." "Yes, master," the guard replied respectfully. After Ming left, the others stayed here. The two little fellows stayed in the pool and felt hot and cold for a while. However, in order to see their mother, neither of them made a fuss about getting up. Instead, they stayed for a quarter of an hour. The guards on the shore were moved when they saw that the two little fellows were so strong at such a young age. This pool was of no use to them at all, but for the two little fellows who had yet to start cultivating, it was still uncomfortable. However, if they started doing this now and started cultivating when they were older, their future would be very smooth. When the time was up, the guards went up to pick them up. They took off their wet clothes, wiped their small bodies dry, and changed them into clean clothes. "You don't have to go through so much trouble. Just wrap it up and it'll be fine," Wu Qiao said. "Quick, let us see mother." Wu Xiaodao was even more direct. He stretched out his hand to snatch the shadow stone. He was too anxious and almost tripped over his clothes and fell to the ground. The guard quickly scooped her up and comforted her. "Little miss, little young master, don't worry. I'll show you after I get dressed. You're going to get sick. If you're sick, Miss will be worried." "That's right. Miss is so busy down there. She's worried about you and can't see you. How torturous would that be? So little miss, little young master, you have to put on your clothes obediently." With that said, the two little fellows fell silent. "All right then, you guys help us get dressed. We'll look at mother." Wu Qiao said. "All right, your subordinate will release it for you now." Two guards helped them get dressed. One of them released the image recorded by the shadow stone. It recorded the things that happened in the human realm. The two little fellows couldn't take their eyes off it. They allowed others to do whatever they wanted to them to get dressed. Sima Yue didn't know that someone was secretly recording her. She also didn't know that her two children were only obedient when they saw her image. At this moment, she was still running all over the world, absorbing the energy left behind by Emperor Qingdao. Every time she absorbed, she would wonder if Emperor Qingdao had left behind all his energy. Otherwise, how could there be so much energy left for her to absorb? After she absorbed the last bit of energy in this continent, there were still 2 days left before the 350 days. This time, she still entered the dream. However, she didn't see the woman running. She only saw Xian Xiuhe in a black cloak. Xian Xiuhe didn't wear a hat, revealing his handsome face. His face was much thinner and paler. His thin lips parted slightly. "Yue, I've finally waited for you." Then, his surroundings became very clear. Although it was still night, she could still see where he was clearly. "Do you still remember this place?" Xian Xiuhe chuckled. "I've been waiting for you here. Don't make me wait for too long." He. Sima Yue woke up. She thought about the place she saw in her dream. She closed her eyes and suppressed the anger in her heart for a long time. Cloud Sea City. He was actually in Cloud Sea City. It was the courtyard in Cloud Sea City, the herb garden where they first met. What did he mean by doing this? Nostalgia? Provocation? Or something else? She couldn't guess what he meant. She only felt endless anger. However, she knew that it wasn't suitable for her to go over like this. Anger would lower her vigilance and affect her judgment. So, she had to calm down first before going over. That's right. He appeared there to make her angry. She couldn't fall into his trap. She came out of the coffin. This was the last tomb in the primordial lands. The moment the door of the tomb closed automatically, her heart trembled. Since she chose to inherit his inheritance and inherited his power, she would complete his mission. She stood outside the tomb and looked up at the stars in the night sky. She thought about her 2 children in the underworld, and her heart slowly calmed down. It was almost a year. The 2 little fellows had already passed their 2nd birthday. She wondered how they were doing when they were 2 years old. Were they well? Were they naughty? Was Wu Xiaodao always hurting her? Mother, mother. In her daze, she seemed to hear the 2 children's voices. She looked around, but didn't see them. She was a little disappointed. She missed the 2 little fellows so much that she was hallucinating. However, the anger in her heart dissipated. She wanted to save Xianxiu, and destroy that dirty thing with her own hands. After she calmed down, she spread the news. After receiving the news, the people in the alliance knew how to find the black-clothed man. Then, she took out a small throne and sat on it before disappearing. Poor Wu Lingyu. The 2 little fellows didn't miss him. Now, even Yue, who only missed him in the past, didn't miss him. It was too torturous. 2 days later, Sima Yue appeared in the sky above Cloud Sea City. She saw the barrier in the sky and directly passed through it. She came to the herb garden. The valuable herbs here had been dug up. Only some of the less valuable herbs were left. You're here. Chapter 22-23. At that time, she followed the people from the heavenly sect to Cloud Sea City to participate in the pill competition. Once she arrived, she heard that the Bodhi mushroom in the Alchemist Guild had been stolen, causing the entire city to be on guard. She met Mo San, who was hiding from the pursuit in her room, and knew that he was the one who stole the Bodhi mushroom. However, he left it in the Alchemist Guild and did not take it out. In order to prevent him from doing anything stupid, she went to the Alchemist Guild to get the Bodhi mushroom for him. It was in this courtyard that she met Xianxiu for the first time. That year, there was a layer of enchantment outside the medicine garden, and there was a slight fluctuation in the air. She called out Little Roar and fused with him before walking in. Because there was an enchantment, there was no one guarding the place. Sima Yue went in directly. Enter the 3rd small flower bed in the medicine garden. There is a spirit fruit tree beside it. Walk 10 steps east from the tree. She muttered as she walked and finally came to a piece of soft soil. The soil was dug up not long ago, and the soil was still very new. She followed Mo San's instructions and dug down twice. As expected, she saw a jade box. She kept the box in her spirit pagoda and passed it to Mo San. When she got up, she saw a stalk of medicine beside her was covered in soil. She moved over and brushed the soil off before combing the leaves of the medicine. That was the place where the Bodhi mushroom was planted. A gentle voice sounded from behind. Sima Yue was shocked and turned around immediately. She saw a man sitting on a wheelchair and smiling at her. Although he said he was looking, his eyes were not focused. He should be a person without problems. She did not feel awkward or helpless after being caught red-handed. She calmly sized up the person in front of her. Both of his hands were casually placed on the armrests of the wheelchair. His beautiful face revealed a sickly fatigue. He looked at Sima Yu indifferently, as if he had seen her little movements, but also as if he hadn't. Who are you? When did you come? Sima Yue took 2 steps forward and looked at him cautiously. I've always been here. It's just that you did not notice. The man said, You can call me Xianxiu. Xianxiu? Sima Yue thought for a while. She had never heard of this name before. She did not know who he was. Yes. Xianxiu smiled and nodded. You have always been here? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Xianxiu admitted, but he did not say whether he saw her or not. What are you doing here? Smelling the smell of medicine. Smelling the smell of medicine? Sima Yu frowned. Could it be that he smelled the scent of the Bodhi mushroom and came over? Don't worry. I won't tell anyone about you. Xianxiu pointed out what she was worried about. He saw it. How? How did he know what she was? Shi Yue and Sima Yue. Sima Xian Yue Xian, Chiu's Sima sex. Xian Yue Xian. Xian Yue Xian Xian, Xian Yue Xian. Not. I. Do you not to care not twos? I. Then what are you doing here? Xiu Mo Xian. To a person who does not know what color is, smell is an important way to perceive the world. Xian Xiu crossed his fingers. I cannot see what the world looks like, but I can smell them. Have you never been able to see? Sima Yu walked over when she saw how calm he was. I heard from others that I could see when I was 1 or 2 years old. So, it's not that I couldn't see, it's just that I don't have any memories of that time. Xian Xiu teased. Children who were 1 or 2 years old did not have any memories. Even if they saw what the world looked like, how could they remember? So, they did not know what color the sky was or what flowers looked like. You didn't see a doctor? I did, but no doctor could find a reason. Because I couldn't see, I got used to it. But you want to see the world, right? Sima Yue said, you want to know what the world looks like, what color the sky is, and what color it is. You don't want to just rely on your consciousness to distinguish the things around you. Xian Xiu's smile deepened. You know how people like me think. Have you experienced it before? Later, she found out that he was not called Xian Xiu. Xian Xiu was just his surname. He was called Xian Xiu He, a man who looked like a crane. Now, he was still in the same place, still sitting in a wheelchair. There was still a smile on his face, but it was not the same clean smile as before. We meet again, Xian Xiu He said. It was different from the hoarse voice she heard before. This time, he used his original voice. Since he had been seen through, he did not care if his voice was recognized. No. Sima Yue regained her senses from her memories and stared into his eyes. It's our first time meeting. Don't try to get close to me. First time meeting? Xian Xiu He laughed softly. You think that I'm not Xian Xiu He? Are you? Sima Yue asked back. Which part of you do you think is the same as him? Just because you've taken over his body, does that mean you're his? Xian Xiu He opened his hands, his soul, his body, why not? The things that you would do, he would not do, not a single one of them. Sima Yue said, you killed so many people, ate so many hearts, enjoyed the thrill of killing people, like to see others in despair and fear. You are not him from the start. Xian Xiu He laughed, his voice was still so pleasant to the ears. Do you think that if he didn't want it, I would become him so easily? What do you mean? Do you know when and under what circumstances he gave himself to me? Xian Xiu He asked her. I don't know, but what I know is that this must have happened under your coercion. Sima Yue said with certainty. Originally, I still needed some time to come out. But when you died, the blood in his body was in turmoil. His breath was unstable, and the seal was disturbed. I took the chance to break the seal and come out. Xian Xiu He saw that she was worried and explained considerately. At that time, I did not do anything to him. I have been looking for a host for so many years. Naturally, I cannot let him die, right? Not only did I not let him die, I also helped him to calm the power in his body. But your death was a huge blow to him. I broke the seal and his previous injuries, causing his body to fall into a coma. Sima, you didn't think that the fact that he had seen her die in the Sage Pavilion would have such a huge impact on him. Chapter 22-24. Sima Yue clenched and loosened her right hand behind her back before she suppressed the shock in her heart. She did not expect Xian Xiu He to like her. Other than his loss of composure the last time they met, their interactions were normal. She only treated him as a good friend and did not feel that he had other thoughts. What she did not expect was that he was like this now because of the blow of her death. Xian Xiu He saw that her expression did not change and continued. Do you know what Tao he comprehended under the tree of life? Sima Yue stared at him and waited for him to continue. She knew that he would say it even if she did not ask, because he wanted to attack her and make her feel guilty before he attacked her. No desires. Xian Xiu, he continued. Maybe it was because I was in his body. As long as he had no desires, even if I broke the seal, he would be fine unless I wanted him to die. Luckily, he had desires and desires. Sima Yue's nails dug into her palms and looked at him with anger. You took over his mind and body when he was at his weakest. I only guided him a little. Xian Xiu, he smiled. If it was not for you, where would his desires come from? Where would his desires come from? If it was not for your death, he would blame himself and feel that he was not strong enough to let you die. How would I have the chance to enter? Are you done talking about Xian Xiu? What about the man in black and the Qi spirit? What role did you play in all this? Sima Yue asked. You're really a curious girl. Xian Xiu sighed and said, I'm in a good mood today, so I'll help you clear your doubts. I set up the Qi spirit. You? How? The Qi spirit needed tens of thousands of years to form. How could he set it up? Xian Xiu, he saw her expression and smiled even more happily. Since I can be in his body, I can naturally be in other people's bodies. Unfortunately, you were not there, so I did not succeed. However, this did not stop me from setting up these things. As a formless thing, he floated to many places. Naturally, he knew that there were good tombs in those places. He then let the host take the initiative to do something, and it only took time. Is it the ancestor of the Xian Xiu clan? Sima Yue said with certainty. Sort of. Everyone in the Xian Xiu clan has his bloodline. Xian Xiu, he was in a good mood, and explained patiently. Only people with his bloodline can withstand my power. Or else, did you think I chose this body? The matter of the black robe man and the Qi Ling, Crane didn't know at first, right? How did you make the Xian Xiu clan do all this for you when you were in his body? Isn't it? Even if it was a reclusive family, would they not want to strengthen themselves? Before I was sealed, I made the people of Xian Xiu clan work for me. Once the leader of the Xian Xiu clan agrees, do I still need to care about the other clansmen? It turned out that this trap had been set up from the very beginning. If you want the power of Emperor Qingdao in my body, you just have to wait for me to succeed. Why did you let the man in black do so many things? Ha! I did not expect you to have such a naive thought. Xian Xiu, he laughed. As long as you are a man, which one of you does not want power? Moreover, I want the Xian Xiu clan to be strong. Only then will I have more resources to nurture this body. I want a body. I want a body with good talent and power. Without power, how can I nurture him? No wonder the man in black was so obsessed with the unions. With them in his hands, it would be easy to nurture a person. Then why did you not do anything for more than 100 years? Without her, it would not be too difficult for him to deal with the unions. But he chose to be quiet for more than 100 years. Because I was waiting for you to come back. How is it? Are you touched? I don't think that's the reason. Sima Yue stared at him. You realize that you could not fully integrate into his body, so whatever you did was useless. You thought of the aura of Emperor Qingdao on me and did not want to cause any trouble, so you let the man in black go quiet. Am I right? Xian Xiu, he smiled, but did not say anything. She was right. Sima Yue saw that he had tacitly agreed and was even more certain of her thoughts. She continued, so, when I came back, you got the black robe men to take action. You wanted to make the continent chaotic again. You wanted me to become stronger and absorb the power that Emperor Qingdao left behind. That's right. You are right. Xian Xiu, he admitted. He admired her sharp mind. What about Mu Si? Why did you capture him? Why did you give him to the Dark Dragon Guard? If I did not do anything, how would you know that my people would come out again? If not, why would you go to the 32 states when you woke up? Xian Xiu, he said. Little Helper said that Mu Si was captured. It was the key to lure her into the trap. So that was it. As for the Dark Dragon Guard, they are my people. I was the one who asked them to find the thing. Seeing that Sima Yue was surprised, she smiled. I just said that I can live in Xian Xiu's body. I can also live in other people's bodies. You have life and death, but I don't. I can't even remember how many years I have lived. There are many things that I can do. So, building a Dark Dragon Guard was not something special. Xian Cheng, why did you send me away? The person who sent you away was not me. It was him. He did not want us to meet. He took over the body and arranged all these. And I felt that you did not absorb much of the power left behind by Qingdao. It was useless to meet him, so I let him be. Xianxiu, he said it casually. Sima Yue could feel the despair and reluctance of Xianxiu he at that time. He also wanted to buy time for her. Do you have any other questions? Sima Yue shook her head. Since I can't escape the blame, then let me pull you out of his body bit by bit. The questions in her heart were all answered. She did not waste any more words with him. She condensed her spiritual energy and attacked him. Xianxiu, he did not really need to sit in a wheelchair. When she attacked, he clapped his hands and flew up. The wheelchair was smashed into pieces just like that. Sima Yue quickly condensed a fire dragon. Now, the speed of her underworld skills was almost instantaneous. Her strength was also unprecedentedly strong. TSK, I didn't expect the fire god to be in your hands. Xianxiu, he casually formed a protective shield and blocked her flames. It's a pity that it hasn't grown. It's useless to me now. His palm emitted a dark aura and quickly swallowed her fire dragon. Chapter 22-25. Sima Yue saw that her fire dragon was extinguished by him just like that, and she was shocked. Her current strength, because she had absorbed Emperor Qingdao's power and didn't have any enlightenment, could be said to be skyrocketing. Even if she didn't advance to Emperor, she wasn't too far away. In addition, she had added Little Flame's power. Even if it wasn't as powerful as Little Birdie, it was enough to give Emperor a headache. But he had swallowed her fire dragon just like that. It was indeed an evil power that had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. Even if it hadn't completely merged with Xianxiu's body, it was still so powerful. With this, she knew that her strength wasn't enough to deal with him. She was just about to call Black Shadow and the rest out when Xianxiu, he appeared in front of her. A power restrained her, making her unable to move. Black Shadow, Huan, and Chanjiu couldn't deal with him even if they came out. Realizing this, she gave up on calling them out. And all of this happened in an instant. Xianxiu, he grabbed her neck with one hand and caressed her face with the other, muttering, "Such a good appearance, attracting him to be so crazy for you. What he doesn't dare to do, I will do it for him, how about that?" With that, he bent down and wanted to kiss her. Sima Yue broke free from his restraint, flipped her right hand, and attacked his chest with Little Birdie's flame. Xianxiu, he reacted quickly. She broke free from the restraint, which made him surprised for a moment. But almost at the same time, he let go of her, turned his body, and dodged the attack on his chest. But his left arm was still burned by Little Birdie. Xianxiu, he grabbed her arm and pulled it behind her back, then restrained her again. "I didn't expect that you would really do it. If I die, he will die too. You heartless woman." He breathed into her ear. The two of them looked very intimate. Sima Yue's right hand wasn't free. Her left hand broke free from the restraint, took out Little Birdie's Flame King, and attacked from behind. Xianxiu, he was sure that she could really break free from his restraint. When she attacked, she disappeared from the spot. Let's end the game here. She did not know where Xianxiu's voice came from. His strength was probably not as simple as a monarch. Even if she had a strong understanding of space, she could not sense his position. "I really want to spare your life for him, so I'll be very careful later. You have to endure it." His voice had yet to fall when Sima Yu felt a wave of energy enveloping her. Following that, something drilled into her body. She tried her best to resist, but she was unable to stop his power. That power kept going downwards until it reached her spiritual pool. When it saw the 8 trigrams in the spiritual pool, it paused. Before this, the spiritual pool was still in the shape of a pagoda. Now, there were 2 pagodas, one black and one white, at the eye of the 8 monsters formation. The power paused for a moment, then went straight to the white tower. Sima Yue felt energy flowing out. She did not need to think to know that Xianxiu, he was absorbing Emperor Qingdao's energy. A hoarse voice sounded in her body. It seemed to be surprised, but then it was angry. Sima Yue took advantage of the moment when the other party was stunned. She gathered all the energy in her body to attack the invading power. At the same time, she ignited little birdie's flame all over her body. He's dark energy had nowhere to hide and had no choice but to leave her body. PFFF, the collision of the energy in her body and the forced withdrawal of the dark energy caused her body to be severely injured. She spat out a mouthful of blood and a few drops fell on her skirt. However, she managed to get rid of He's power. She called Huan, Black Shadow, and Changjio out. Her beasts also came out to protect her. They already knew how powerful he was in the spirit pagoda. At this moment, they were all looking at him cautiously. He was not as complacent as before. He stared at Sima Yue and said, "You haven't finished absorbing Qing Dao's energy?" No. Sima Yue was glad. Emperor Qing Dao had 2 tombs in the divine realm. It was probably because she was still lacking that he did not kill her in one go. If you haven't finished absorbing it, how can you have such a close connection with me? How did you find your way here? He stared at Sima Yue. He always thought that she had finished absorbing Qing Dao's energy. Otherwise, she would not have been able to find her way here. And he did feel the connection between him and her. It was the connection between him and Qing Dao. But he did not expect her to be able to do this even though she had not finished absorbing it. He did not plan to let her go today. That was why he said so much to her. He did not expect her to tell him that she had not finished absorbing Qing Dao's energy. Ugh, he was also injured by Sima Yue. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Some dark dragon guards came out from the sky and surrounded him. Sima Yue wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and smiled at him. Why is it impossible? I've disappointed you. It's really a happy thing. Regardless of anything else, this point alone made him unable to succeed. It made him unable to touch her. So what if I didn't succeed today? I won't go to the remaining 2 tombs. You'll never succeed. You dare? If you don't go, I'll get people to kill your family and friends. Then I'll kill everyone in this mainland. Before everyone dies, I'll tell them why they died. You can compete with me and see whose heart is harder. After he finished speaking, he laughed sinisterly. I'll wait for you up there. Don't disappoint me. Let's go. The dark dragon guards left with him. Sima Yue did not say anything to stop them. Those people were not weak. With he's unfathomable strength. Even if he was injured, she did not know how strong he was. Yu, how are you? Little Seven and Little Dream felt that Sima Yue could not stand properly. They quickly supported her and slowly returned to the ground. Sima Yue was not feeling well. She took out a few elixirs and ate them. Her body was still in pain. Seeing everyone's worried eyes, she smiled. I'm not feeling well now. I'll be fine in a while. Don't worry, I'm fine. You should have called us out earlier. Black Shadow saw that she was in pain and felt bad too. It's my mistake. Sima Yue shook her head. I should have thought of it. It was already so powerful when Emperor Qing Dao was still around. Now that it has experienced hundreds of thousands of years, how can it be weak? However, after this mainland can at least be peaceful for a while. Aren't there still the men in black and the Qi spirits? He will bring them up. Do you know why the entire mainland can't find the Xianxiu family? Because they are no longer in this mainland. Chapter 22-26. Xianxiu clan is no longer in this continent? Yu, how did you know? Little Seven and the others had been paying attention to her situation. She had not interacted with anyone recently, so how could she be so sure? Just now, Sima Yue panted and said, when he entered my body just now, the connection between us suddenly became very clear. In that short period of time, I saw many of his memories. These memories were all after she entered Xianxiu's body, but it was enough for her to understand these things. For example, Xianxiu clan had already gone to the world above. For example, the stronghold of the remaining black-robed men. With these, she could at least weaken his strength a little under the circumstances where she could not touch him. Actually, when Xianxiu went to the divine realm, He had already given up on those black-robed men, and his current target was her. He did not need to nurture Xian Xiu He, so he would not harm the ancient primordial lands in the future. As for what would happen if he kept most of the black-robed men and chi spirits in the divine realm, it was not within her scope of concern now. You, recuperate first. We'll talk about other things after you've recovered. Little Dream said, I'm fine. Chanjiu, I'll need you to inform this news. Sima Yue said, All right. Chanjiu knew of her hatred towards the black-robed men. If he was late, they would probably retreat again. So after she told him the location, he left. The sooner he left, the sooner he could come back to protect her. After Chanjiu left, Little Dream and the others helped her to find a house to stay in. Then Little Seven and the others volunteered to go out and scout for information. But not long later, they all returned. What's wrong? Sima Yue leaned on the bed and asked. The entire Cloud Sea City is empty. There's no one here. Little Seven said. Not a single person? Little Seven shook her head. There's no aura of life here. Not only is there no one, there's not even a dog. The Alchemist Guild and the Pill Guild had moved away. Many people in the city had left because of this. The rest were probably cleared out by the black-robed men. This city that resided above the clouds and had been so prosperous in the past had actually become a city of the dead now, and it made those who witnessed its prosperity feel quite sad. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment. Then, she sighed and said, since he chose to stay here, he naturally wouldn't let the news spread. Empty city is indeed a good way to keep a secret. As for those who came here, none of them returned. Who knew what happened to the people outside? Did Tu Changwan meet her here? Sima Yue closed her eyes weakly and said, Let's leave this place when I'm better. All right. A few days later, her injuries were more or less healed. The people outside started to deal with the black-robed men's stronghold because of the information she gave them. She couldn't continue to stay in this ghost town. However, before she left, she burned down the courtyard. Looking at the raging flames engulfing the herb garden, she seemed to see the man sitting quietly in his wheelchair under the sunlight, smiling at her. She closed her eyes and opened them again. Her gaze was calm again. She kept everyone in the spirit pagoda, took out the small throne, and left Cloud Sea City. After leaving Cloud Sea City, she didn't directly return to Sima family. Instead, she went to divination. Divination's gatekeeper had changed, but everyone recognized her and knew her relationship with her sect master. So when they saw her, they still respectfully welcomed her through the gate. Where's your sect master? Sima Yue asked. Sect master is in closed-door cultivation. The little boy who led the way said, Sect master said that no matter when, as long as Miss Yue comes, you must be invited in. Is he in closed-door cultivation? Sima Yue thought that she didn't have anything to do with the little boy. Since he was in closed-door cultivation, she didn't want to disturb him. Since he doesn't have time, I won't disturb him. I'll go first. Sister. A familiar voice sounded from the end of the mountain path. The person in closed-door cultivation was already standing on a mountain waiting for her. I'll go up by myself. Little master, you can go do your thing, Sima Yue said to the little boy who led the way. Then, she walked up the mountain alone. She came to the little boy's side and said, Didn't you say that you were in closed-door cultivation? The little boy smiled. I was in closed-door cultivation. I came out when I heard that you were here. He wasn't in closed-door cultivation. Since he knew that she was here, he naturally had to come out. Your strength has improved again. If he could know that she was here when he was in closed-door cultivation, it could be seen that he had reached the stage where he didn't care about these small things. I've improved since I came back last time. The little boy brought her up the mountain. They went to the courtyard that used to be Yinlin, but was now his courtyard. He was already very good before, but because of the knot in his heart, he was stuck at a bottleneck. And he wouldn't say those words to anyone else. When he went to see Sima Yue, the conversation between the two of them resolved the knot in his heart. After he came back, his strength improved naturally. They came to the main hall. Sima Yue was still sitting on the same praying mat as before. The little boy sat down on the praying mat beside her. Has the matter with the black-robed men been settled? The little boy asked. You can say so. Sima Yue told the little boy everything. She knew that even if she didn't say it, he would be able to calculate it. But she still told him. She came because she wanted to find someone to talk to. I couldn't see it clearly in the divination before, but now I can see it clearly. The little boy sighed. He didn't expect things to develop like this. He calculated that this matter had an ancient aura, but he didn't expect that it was set up by that thing hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now that he heard it, he was really shocked. It was a pity for Xian Xiuhe. Seeing that Sima Yue was a little depressed, he said, "You don't have to blame yourself. This matter was set up hundreds of thousands of years ago. It's not something you can stop." Although she said that, she still blamed herself. There are 2 places left. Do you want to go? The little boy asked. Do I have a choice? Sima Yue smiled bitterly. That thing is the dark side of Emperor Qing Dao. He doesn't have a benevolent heart. He said that if I don't go, he will kill, and he will. Although I'm not a saint, I can't completely ignore the life and death of others. I can't compete with him in terms of ruthlessness. Not to mention, he will definitely make a move on the people around me. Under such circumstances, she didn't have a choice. The little boy knew her character and wasn't surprised that she would make such a choice. However, he didn't ask me to go immediately. I think he knows that I shouldn't bite off more than I can chew. I've just absorbed so much energy. If I immediately absorb the rest, I might not get the results he wants. This is good too. It gives me some time to breathe. Sima Yue felt very tired. Chapter 22-27. Little Helper wanted to tell her fortune, and Sima Yue didn't ask what he wanted to tell her. She nodded and watched as he took out the things used to tell her fortune. Sima Yue supported her chin with one hand. She watched his white, jade-like fingers rubbing against the tortoise shell. She did not know what he was doing. This was the first time she saw a child doing fortune-telling. She felt that these fortune-tellers were very powerful. They could use these to predict the future. After a while, the child put away the items and smiled at her. Good fortune. What did you tell me? Sima Yue asked him. Your luck for the next few years will be smooth. There will be no diseases or disasters. You can rest for a few years, the child said. He was not a big deal, but he gave her the answer she wanted. She was too tired in her life. She did not feel much usually, but when she encountered something like this, she would feel tired, especially when it came to the black-clothed man. She felt that it was all because of her. This kind of self-blame made her feel even more tired. She did not have much to do in the next few years. She could rest well and release the pressure in her heart. Otherwise, she did not know if it would affect her Dao heart. I want to go to the devil world, Sima Yue said. There would naturally be many things to do in the devil world. How could she rest? If you want to go, then go. The child did not stop her. This meant that going to the devil world would not make her tired. But there is one thing you need to take note of. Don't worry too much. I will try my best. He will not make you worry, the child said with certainty, because he knew he did not stop her. Then I will treat it as going to play. Sima Yue did not feel that she had to do anything, other than taking revenge for Little Dream. Everything else would depend on Ling Yu's needs. It is good for the 2 little fellows to stay there. The child suddenly changed the topic. Sima Yue was startled. Then she smiled. I know. Because she knew, she agreed. Because she knew, she restrained herself. In a few years, they will be a great help to you. The child was very curious about the 2 little fellows. It was a pity that he could not see them now. Since you know them, you should also know Xiao Dao's life providence, right? As her uncle, do you have any advice for her? Sima Yue put aside her longing and looked at him with a smile. You really didn't waste any of my resources. Xiao Tong saw that there was finally a genuine smile on her face, and it wasn't as worrisome as before. Xiao Tong's mood improved a lot. I've already read her fortune. Although her fate is extremely bad, there's no need to worry too much. Things will move in the opposite direction when they reach an extreme. Now that you've deteriorated like this, cough cough, you'll definitely have good days in the future. Thinking of Wu Xiaodao's fate, he actually wanted to laugh. It had to be said that her fate was extremely good, and Wu Lingyu's was also very good. Of the 2 children they gave birth to, Wu Qiao's fate was extremely noble. while Wu Xiaodao's fate was extremely bad. It looked as if her entire family had robbed her of all her life horoscopes before giving her such a bad luck. Sima Yuyue's initial worry when she learned of Wu Xiaodao's life providence had dissipated significantly. Now, thinking of her daughter's life providence, she felt helpless and heartache. Can you read where the person she's destined to be is? Xiao Tong shook his head. This kind of thing had always been within the scope of their calculations. He only said, she will have a great calamity, but it's the same as your calamity. After the calamity, she will be reborn. The future will naturally change. Therefore, the heavens will bring her to his side. You don't have to worry about this anymore. In other words, don't look for the person Wu Xiaodao has destined to be. Even if you look for him, you won't be able to find him. The heavens will have their own arrangements. With his words, her heart calmed down a lot. In the blink of an eye, she felt heartache for her daughter. This kind of calamity wasn't easy to pass, but there can be no construction without destruction. She could only follow the heavens and let her walk on her own. The two then talked about something else. Xiao Tong said, I'll bring you around the door. Wait. Sima Yue sat still. I still have a very important thing to ask you. Okay, go ahead. He was always very patient with her. If you read the heavens, will it be very harmful to your body? Sima Yue asked. Xiao Tong hesitated for a moment, then nodded. This matter couldn't be hidden from her. Otherwise, if something happened, she would blame herself again. Then what if we discuss it? No. Then let's discuss it. Sima Yue said. What did you discover? Xiao Tong knew that she wouldn't bring this up for no reason. Do you know about the ancient sacred flame order in the divine region? Sima Yue asked. Xiao Tong nodded. Although they wouldn't tell others about this, they knew about it. The last time I saw it in Qingliang City, I even came into contact with it. Sima Yue said, the rumor in the divine region is that with this, one can rule the world. So, you discovered the secret behind it? When I touched it, I felt the aura of chaos in it. Sima Yue said, I have an idea in my heart, but I'm not sure if it's right. Tell me about it for reference. My grandfather advanced to emperor in the ghost realm. He relied on the water of the chaos world. Later on, when he advanced, the cloud spirit told me that the method used to advance was the method used to obtain the recognition of the heavenly Tao. Later on, we poured out the water of the chaos river and obtained the recognition of the heavenly Tao. At that time, I guessed that the heavenly Tao might be related to the chaos river water. Furthermore, you found the aura of chaos in the ancient sacred flame order, so this idea deepened, right? Xiao Tong asked. The ancient sacred flame order is just a token. How can it make people in the world submit? This is usually because of the benefits that the token can bring. If I didn't feel the aura of chaos in it, I might have thought that it was something else, but after feeling the aura of chaos, this idea has been lingering around me. I can't get rid of it. According to what you said, this is very likely to be related to the chaos world. Xiao Tong said seriously, initially, the chaos world wasn't completely isolated from the outside world, but later on, it gradually closed, and people who went to the chaos world couldn't come back. According to the ancient records, the chaos world closed around the same time that this world stopped producing emperors. It's just that no one has ever connected the two before. If that's the case, the possibility is very high. Sima Yue's guess was confirmed. If we reconnect the chaos world with the outside world, will the heavenly Tao change back? Chapter 22-28. Easier said than done. This was no longer an easy matter. It was simply impossible. What kind of place was the chaos world? It was the origin of life. It existed in legends. Many people didn't even know that such a place existed. If she wanted to change it, she could only rely on her own strength. She couldn't even defeat Xian Xiuhe now, let alone change the chaos world. I don't want to do anything now to change the chaos world. Sima Yue said, it's just that with such a conjecture, I can work hard in this direction, right? I don't have the ability now. Who knows if I can do it in the future? Even if I don't change it until I die, if this direction is right, maybe someone can do it in the future. That's true. Little Helper didn't continue to pour cold water on her. If the heavenly Tao can be changed, it will be a good thing for this mainland. At least the three realms won't be so chaotic anymore. However, don't force this matter. This isn't your responsibility. I understand. Sima Yue knew that he was worried that she would take this matter on herself again. She would be very busy and very tired. She wasn't that stupid. Previously, she felt that she had a lot of burdens on her. That was because these things were related to her family and friends. Now that she had found her mother and solved the black-robed men's matter temporarily, other things weren't directly related to her. She wouldn't be so stupid to take everything on herself. Little Helper was relieved when he saw that she really didn't think that way. He kept her at the divination house for a few days and let her go back after she had rested. Sima Yue returned to the Sima family. There weren't many people in the Sima family. Everyone was outside looking for the black-robed men's whereabouts this year. They really hated the black-robed men. If it wasn't for them, Sima Yue wouldn't have to rush around like this. Later on, when they received news from Chanjiu, they knew the black-robed men's stronghold. So many people went out to vent their anger. Yuka Luo took care of Sima Zihao at home. Sima Lu Xian went out with the clansmen. So Sima Yue went to see her great-grandfather and then went to see Yuka Luo. Sister. Sima Zihao ran towards her and hugged her leg. He was only 2 years old and hadn't seen her for a year. Children shouldn't have any memories, but he could recognize her at first glance. Sima Yue picked him up and asked, Zihao, how did you recognize me? Mother is looking at the portrait. Zihao is also looking at it. Sima Zihao's words were very nimble, and he expressed his intentions very well. She was wondering why he still remembered her. So it was Yuka Ruo who had taught him. Yuka Luo was teaching Sima Zi how to read in the courtyard, so there was a book on the small table beside her. Sima Yue carried Sima Zihao over and said to Yuka Luo, Mother, I'm back. Yuka Luo already knew about her situation. Although she did not know the dangers involved, she could roughly guess. She reached out to stroke Yue's head and said, It's good that you came back safely. Where's father? He went out to kill the black-robed men. Yuka Luo got someone to bring her a chair and sat down. Everyone is holding back their anger. Now that we know where the black-robed men's stronghold is, we can't wait to go. If it wasn't for Zihao, Mother would also want to go and kill a few. Mother, be careful not to scare little brother like this. Sima Yue patted Sima Zihao's back and said, Zihao is not afraid. Zihao wants to protect sister. Sima Zihao vowed solemnly in her arms. Your father has always told him that he is a man and will protect sister in the future. So the smoothest thing he can say now is to protect sister. Yuka Luo smiled and said, Zihao is so obedient. If you want to protect sister, you have to listen to father and mother and become stronger, understand? I know. I'm a big child. Sima Zihao's childish words successfully made his mother and sister laugh. After teasing Sima Zihao for a while, he fell asleep in her arms. Sima Yue placed him on his bed and came out to chat with Yuka Luo. The black-robed men's matter has been settled. This time you will be staying at home for a while, right? Yuka Luo was really afraid that she would leave immediately. I will rest for a while and spend more time at home with you and little brother. Sima Yue said. Her parents had been rescued, and her family was reunited. However, due to various reasons, they didn't spend much time together. She did not know how long she would stay in the Devil Realm. So before she left, she wanted to spend more time with her parents and little brother. When she returned to her own courtyard, the smile on her face gradually disappeared. She thought for a while and contacted Ming. Ming quickly appeared in her room. Seeing her anxious eyes, he did not say anything and threw a pile of shadow stones to her. I will remember it for you. The two little fellows are still molding their bodies. Take your time to look at it. After saying that, he left again, not giving her any time to speak from beginning to end. Since you are so busy, just get someone to send it over. Sima Yue complained. However, she still hugged the pile of shadow stones and looked at it. The shadow stones were marked with numbers. It started from when the two little fellows went there. She took out the number 1 shadow stone and inserted her spirit energy to look at it. It recorded when the two little fellows first went there. They were crying for their mother. Wu Xiaodao's voice was hoarse from crying. Wu Qiyao's face was also red from the bitterness. Sima Yoyue's tears fell. She now knew why Ming had to run away so quickly. If he did not run away quickly, she would definitely settle the score with him when she saw this. Later on, the two little fellows slowly adapted and became more obedient. They did not cry so much anymore. However, they would often look for their mother. Sima Yoyue's heart ached when she saw this. She saw that the two little fellows treated her image as a reward. No matter how hard it was, they would not make a fuss. Her tears flowed even more violently. She now knew that Ming was right not to let her see them. If she went, she would definitely not bear to let them suffer like that, even if she knew that it was for their good in the future. Only when she could not see them, she could harden her heart. Later on, the two little fellows grew up and became obedient. The only thing that did not change was their longing for her. In the last Shadow Stone, she saw that Wu Xiaodao was used to falling down from time to time. After falling down, he climbed up and patted his little hands before continuing to play. Sima Yue locked herself in the room and watched it for a day. The next day, she showed it to Yuka Luo and cried for a while. Poor two children. Yuka Luo wiped the tears on her face. You have to think about it. This is for their good in the future. I know. She kept the Shadow Stones. These were her consolation for them in the future. Chapter 22-29. Sima Yue shook her head. Ming didn't give her a time limit. Although he didn't say it, it's only for these few years. I'll go to the Devil Realm to take a look. If the situation there is good, I'll bring them back. If the situation isn't good, I'll let them stay there for a while. I just don't know how long it will take for him to mold their bodies. If it takes a long time, I'll go over there to accompany them. They were her own children. She had to watch them grow up by herself. Every process in life couldn't be repeated. She had already missed the 2 years of their growth. She didn't want to miss the future. It's good that you have a plan in mind. Mother, big sister. Sima Zi boldly and eagerly ran over with his short legs, immediately diluting the sadness from before. Sima Yue stayed at home for a few months this time. In these few months, the black-robed men's stronghold was either destroyed or they received orders to leave for the Divine Realm. For a time, the black-robed men who once caused unrest in the continent disappeared. Sima Yue felt a little absent-minded when she thought about it. The entanglement with the black-robed men started when she was still in the Heavenly Sect. After more than 100 years, they suddenly disappeared. She felt that it was too unreal. But thinking about Xian Xiuhe's purpose, she knew that the black-robed men's matter wasn't really over. They just changed a place to wait for her. When Sima Lu Xian and the others came back, she stayed at home for more than a month before leaving for the Devil Realm. When she came to the Bloody Passage again, she remembered what happened in the past. She saved her master here. She went to the Devil Realm with Wu Lingyu here. After experiencing the Devil Realm, she met Ba Jiazi and a few other friends. She didn't know what she would experience this time. When she passed through the Bloody Passage, she happened to see the people from the Devil Realm fighting with the guards. She didn't want to kill people. After all, Wu Lingyu was in the Devil Realm now. These people might be his subordinates. She just wanted to chase them away. Just as she was about to make a move, she heard the people from the Devil Clan talking. How unlucky. If we knew we would be in a tough battle here, we might as well stay in the Devil Realm to deal with those rebels. People from the Devil Tower. Her eyes flashed, and a fire dragon condensed in the air, quickly flying towards those devils. The moment the fire dragon flew out, many small swords formed in front of her and followed the fire dragon. The people of the Foam Clan could not hold on any longer. This battle had already lasted for a few days, but this time there seemed to be a lot of demons. No matter how hard they tried, they could not kill them all. Instead, they were already exhausted. Just when they thought that they were going to lose today, a fire dragon flew over from behind them, burning more than half of the Demon Clan to death. Then, those small swords pierced into the forehead of the remaining Demon Clan and the power contained in the small swords immediately disintegrated them. The Devil Clan, who had just made the Feng clan fight bitterly, was annihilated just like that. The members of the Feng family were still in a daze. Sima Yue flew over and glanced at them. Seeing the symbol on their clothes, she did not expect to meet people from the Feng family here. "Thank you for saving us, Senior." The leader of the Feng family expressed his gratitude to Sima Yue. "It's nothing," Sima Yue said. "May I know Senior's name? When we get out, we will definitely thank you." "There's no need. You are my master's clansman, so it's natural for me to save you. I still have something to do. Goodbye," Sima Yue said and flew into the depths of the bloody tunnel. The people of the Feng clan looked at her back and guessed her identity. Who was so powerful that she was related to the Feng clan? "That's Sima Yue." Someone recognized her and shouted while pointing at her back. "Sima Yue? Are you sure?" "Yes, it's her. She's the disciple of Granduncle Xing. I didn't expect her to be so powerful. Her strength is already at the Paragon level, right? How old is she?" Chapter 2230. What was this city called? They didn't know much about it the last time they came. It was mainly because she was targeted the moment she arrived. Then, Little Dream directly took care of those people, and they left. This city wasn't big. When the three of them entered, they immediately attracted the attention of others. But this time, no one dared to come up to them. What a joke. To be able to transform into such a good appearance. Her strength was also first class. Although she looked good, her strength was also good. Whoever dared to provoke her, she would teach them a lesson. Sima Yue didn't deliberately hide her whereabouts. With her current strength, there was nothing to hide. Anyway, no one would be blind enough to offend her in such a small place. After staying in the inn, she released the scarlet bees to scout for information. Then, she let Hua Hua and Little Dream wander around. Before she could rest for a while, Little Dream and Hua Hua ran back. "Yu, something big happened." Hua Hua patted her chest and said, "What's wrong?" Sima Yue looked at them. They had only gone out for a while, and they came back in such a hurry. They even looked anxious. The Scarlet Bees hadn't sent back any news yet. Mo Lu sent 1,000,000 demon soldiers to attack Brother Ling Yu. Hua Hua said, "I heard that those people are very strong." "That's right. Mo Lu also released news that this time, they will definitely destroy Brother Ling Yu and the others. Although I didn't care much about the outside world in the past, I still know about the demon army. Mo Lu sent out a very strong army this time." Little Dream said worriedly. "So, they know Ling Yu's whereabouts?" "Ling Yu has taken down many cities here and is now facing off against Mo Lu. But their territory is much smaller than Mo Lu's, so their situation is very bad." Hua Hua said the news she just heard. The two of them wanted to go out and ask around, but they didn't expect to hear such important news as soon as they arrived at the inn's hall. Yu, let's talk about my revenge later. Let's go find Brother Ling Yu," Little Dream said. Sima Yue didn't expect Wu Ling Yu to directly bring this matter to the surface and even occupy a mountain here. But this made it easier for her to find him. "It's useless for us to go find him now." Sima Yue thought for a while, "But we need more detailed information. This hall isn't enough." Yu, what do you think? Let's go and see if we can get some information from the system." Sima Yu smiled. "Before that, we have to do some preparations." That night, in the City Lord's mansion, the City Lord felt a little tired and went back to sleep without finishing the work at hand. After a while, three people's figures Yu, if this is really useful, he's sleeping so soundly. Floey glanced at the unconscious City Lord. This is specially made for the demon race, so the effect will naturally not be bad. However, this can only make him fall asleep. The rest depends on Little Dream. Little Dream's hands formed a seal. Faint ripples came out from her palms and directly entered the city's body. Then she said to her, "He's already in a sweet dream. You can come." Sima Yue came to the city's side and placed her index finger between his eyebrows. Then she sent her divine sense into his sea of consciousness and read his memories. As the city's lord of small city, he didn't know much, but he still knew some important information. For example, Wu Lingyu's forces in the demon world these years. For example, which cities they ruled now, which powerful races lived in these places, etc. She especially paid attention to those races, the ones that exterminated Little Dream's clan. After reading enough, she withdrew her divine sense and went to his study. She found the huge map and then left the city's residents with Little Dream and the others. In order to not cause trouble, they left directly and came out of the city in a desolate place. Yu, why did you bring this with you? Hua Hua looked at the map in her hand and asked in confusion. Wu Lingyu had given her a map of the demon world before. Why did she take it away and let the city's lord know that someone had broken into his study? Although the city's lord isn't a big deal, the map in his hand is a treasure. If he didn't keep a low profile, this thing might not be in his hands right now. Sima Yue opened the map after speaking and showed it to Hua Hua and Little Dream. Hua Hua and Little Dream went over. They saw that this map was no different from other maps. It only marked some mountains, rivers, and important cities. The magical place is here. Look, Sima Yu placed her finger on a spot and inserted her spirit energy. The entire map seemed to come alive, projecting the place her finger touched into the air. Furthermore, it was magnified by 100 times. Even the surrounding small towns were marked out. There's actually a world like this. Hua Hua and Little Dream exclaimed. Sima Yue changed her finger into a palm. After inserting spiritual energy, a huge map appeared in front of them, detailing the area covered by her palm. How can there be a map like this? It was so detailed, it was unbelievable. It said that an almighty made it for the woman he loved. Sima Yue said emotionally. It said that the woman he loved wasn't very healthy and couldn't follow him around the world. In order to let his beloved know the outside world, he began to make this map. Later on, the woman died, but he didn't give up until his death. What a touching story. Hua Hua and Little Dream sighed. After that, this map went around in circles and ended up with the city's lord. Sima Yue said, there's also information about the places where the races live. Let's find those places first, then we'll know how to get there without a map. Are you going to give this map to Brother Lingyu? It's fine if he just wants revenge, but now that things have come to this point, it's more convenient for him to have this. We don't have any use for it anyway. Sima Yue found the places where the races that participated in the killing of the Nightmare Clan were. She even memorized the introductions before keeping the map. Yu, are we going to find Brother Lingyu now? No, we're going to Yuliang City. Yuliang City? Isn't that the place of the Demon Wolf Clan? Yu, Brother Lingyu isn't in a good situation now. Let's go help him first. We'll talk about revenge later. Sima Yue smiled. We're going to help him, but revenge won't be delayed. Chapter 2231. After looking at the map, Sima Yue realized that the demon realm was vast and boundless. The places where people lived were also divided into regions like the human realm. However, they were not divided into inner and outer regions like the human realm, nor were they divided into soul regions, ghost regions, and hell like the ghost realm. Instead, they were like provinces in her previous life, but for convenience, they were called ridges. This might be because the demon realm had always been under the rule of the Demon King. Sima Yue calculated that there were a few thousand ridges in the demon realm. Wu Lingyu's subordinates were probably less than 1,000. Thinking about the situation he was facing, it was indeed a serious one. This serious situation was not without a breakthrough. As long as the Demon King and Mo Lu were destroyed, this matter would be much easier. There were not many outstanding members of the royal family. However, this was too difficult. Otherwise, Wu Lingyu would not have been troubled for so many years. Wu Lingyu had powerful demonic beasts by his side, but as the Demon King who ruled the entire demon realm, he naturally had such power in his hands. If they really clashed, no one knew who would win or lose. Moreover, Mo Lu was the reincarnation of the person who harmed the domain realm. He was not easy to deal with. Thinking about Wu Lingyu's current situation, she could not imagine how he found time to accompany her every time, especially after such a long time in the ghost realm. although he would occasionally disappear to deal with matters. Thinking about the situation, she did not know how much he had suffered in exchange for such companionship. Yuliang City was the largest city in Yuliang Ridge. It was also an important place for both sides to fight over because Yuliang Ridge was rich in resources. The demon realm was barren. A place like this would definitely be controlled by both sides. Therefore, Wu Lingyu wanted to seize this place. With this place, they could solve their current urgent situation to a large extent. Similarly, Mo Lu sent many people to guard this place to prevent Wu Lingyu and the rest from coming to seize it. For this place, both sides had fought many battles. Wu Lingyu had sent people to attack many times, but they were all unsuccessful. The one guarding Yuliang City now is the clan leader of the Demon Sky Wolf clan. Sima Yue said, "It is said that this clan leader is very strong. The people sent by Ling Yu were completely helpless. Let's go meet him. I'll collect some interest for you first. Without the chief, it will be much easier to deal with the Devil Sky Wolf clan." Sima Yue explained to the two of them. This information was obtained from the memories of the previous city lord. This was just right. Not only did it satisfy his goal of avenging Xiao Ming, but it could also help Wu Lingyu find a good place. But even if we take Yuliang City, we won't be able to stop the millions of soldiers of the royal family. Little Dream was still worried about this. Among the millions of soldiers, the most troublesome ones are actually the commanders. The soldiers below were just there to make up the numbers. What we need to deal with are the more powerful ones. We don't have to worry about the low-level soldiers since they don't have a commander. Sima Yue analyzed. That's true. However, there are many people below the Demon Tower, and there are many powerful people as well. It's enough to give Big Brother Ling Yu a headache. Little Dream said, Ling Yu isn't powerless. Sima Yue wasn't worried, or rather, she had absolute confidence in Wu Lingyu. No matter what kind of danger it was, he would be able to resolve it. What she needed to do now was to help him resolve these problems. Since they had decided to go to Yuliang City, they didn't delay any longer. They found the location of Yuliang City on the map, estimated the distance, and rushed over with their small thrones. On Wu Lingyu's side, he was also having a headache over Yuliang City. We've searched the entire Demon Tower over the years. As long as we get close, we'll be discovered by that old man from Demon Sky Wolf. They're probably afraid that we'll try to take over that place again, so they sent more people over. It's really difficult to take over that place now. Ba Lang Qi, the leader of the Black Jade race, sighed. King, we have to think of other ways to take over Yuliang City, Hua Di added. Hua Di chimed in from his side. Regardless of whether it's the current situation or the momentum, we have to take down Moon Liang City. I understand. How could Wu Lingyu not know the importance of Yuliang City? Not only him, but the Demon Tower also knew. That was why it was so difficult to take over. It wasn't that he hadn't thought of doing it himself, but if he did, the other side would do the same. The royal family had been passed down for so many years. His side still couldn't win. Therefore, if he wanted to quickly resolve the situation here, he had to start with the Demon Tower. At this moment, a greeting came from outside. Soon, the silver-haired, silver-eyed Hong Yuan walked in wearing a red cloak. High Priest, Hua Di, Ba Lang Qi, and the other elders in the room all bowed to Hong Yuan. Hong Yuan nodded and bowed to Wu Lingyu. Then, he said, There's something wrong with Yuliang City. What did you predict? Wu Lingyu asked. As a priest, Hong Yuan was actually similar to diviners like Little Helper. He could predict some things, but his divination ability wasn't as good as Yin Lin and Little Helper's. Hong Yuan shook his head slightly. Previously, I divined that Yuliang City was very important. It was the turning point of our victory. Therefore, I said that we had to take it no matter what. But just now I divined again and I couldn't see anything. Something must have changed. Something changed? Is that good or bad for us? Ba Lang Qi asked in shock. From the divination, it's not bad. But if I can't see anything, I can't come up with a countermeasure, Hong Yuan said lightly. We still have to send someone to take a look. I'll go, Hong Yuan said. Hong Yin said. Seeing Wu Lingyu's disapproving look, her icy cold face softened quite a bit as she continued. Demon Tower's millions of troops have been sent down. General Sui has already brought people over. My king, you naturally have to stay here and lead the charge. The patriarchs also brought people with them and can't go. It's best for me to go now. He didn't bring anyone with him. It was just right for him to go there. But won't it be too dangerous for you to go? Hua Jing said worriedly. Hong Yuan used to be a subordinate of the Demon Tower. Now that he came to their camp, the Demon Tower treated him as a traitor. If they found out that he went there, wouldn't they torture him to death? I divined for myself. It's scary but not dangerous. There's no need to worry. When Hong Yuan said this, everyone swallowed their words of persuasion. But still too dangerous for you to go alone. Hua Jing, bring some people with you, Wu Lingyu instructed. Yes. Although Hua Jing wanted to stay and fight, being a priest with Wu Lingyu was different. He had to protect Hong Yuan's safety. Hong Yuan didn't object. What he didn't say was that the divination he divined for himself was extremely ominous. But in the end, he could turn the misfortune into a blessing. It was good to bring some people with him. So he accepted the order and brought Hua Jing to Yuliang City. Chapter 2232. Sima Yue didn't go directly to Yuliang City. The situation there wasn't good. If she went there like a headless fly, it wouldn't be a good thing. They came to an inconspicuous city near Yuliang City. It was close to Yuliang City, but because it was too close, it couldn't compete with Yuliang City for resources and didn't develop. Even so, it was much better than the places they had seen before. No wonder both sides are fighting for this place. I can feel it's different from other places. Sima Yue said emotionally. Yuliang Ridge had green mountains and clear waters. There were even a few mines on the small throne. For the demon world, which was poor in resources, it was a piece of juicy meat. Let's go into the city to find out. The place they came from was still quite far from the city. They wanted to go there quietly. However, before they entered the city, they met an old acquaintance outside the city. It was an old acquaintance who was in a sorry state. Ba Jiazi felt that she was in trouble this time. Not only was she going to be caught, but she would also be a burden to Hua Xiao and the king. The demon building had already sent an army over. She couldn't be a burden to her family and the king at this time. If she was really going to be caught, she would rather self-destruct. Her heart sank when she saw that her pursuers had caught up and surrounded her. These people were all ruthless and much stronger than her. It seemed like there was only one path left today. I didn't expect someone to send you food the moment we arrived. Since it's like this, Hua, you don't have to be polite. The clear voice made Hei Yu's eyes light up with hope and even more disbelief. She turned her head and saw the person sitting on the man-eating flower king, smiling at her. Yue, it's really you. Hei Yu's eyes lit up. She thought that she was going to die today. She didn't expect the person who shouldn't have appeared to save her life. Hua flew a flower in front of her. She jumped on it and let the Hua send her in front of Sima Yue. As for the people chasing after her, there was Hua, the man-eating flower king, and Xiao Ming. There was no need for her to worry. Yue, why are you here? Black Jade still couldn't believe that Sima Yue had really come to the Devil Realm. Didn't the news say that she was very busy? Have you dealt with the affairs in the mortal realm? Why didn't she go to the king? Yue looked at her sparkling eyes and smiled. I've just arrived in the devil world. I still have some things to deal with, so I came here first. Fortunately, you came. Otherwise, I would have been finished here today. Hey, you rejoiced. Why are you here? Sima Yue asked. Speaking of this, the smile on Hei Yu's face faded slightly. Hua Xiao and I came to investigate, but who knew that before we even reached Moonliang City, we would be discovered by them? Hei Yu said, we still don't know how Hua Xiao is doing. We split up and escaped. Sima Yue asked about the direction Hua Xiao escaped in. Seeing that most of the people here had been eaten up by Hua, she called out Mier and asked him to go find Hua Xiao with Hua and Xiao Ming. Tell me about the current situation. When Mier and Hua brought Hua Xiao back, Bat Jiazi had already told her about the current situation. The situation was similar to what she saw in the City Lord's memories, but she explained it even more clearly. Hua Xiao had suffered heavy injuries, but he was still in good spirits. When he saw Hua Hua and Xiaoming, he was very surprised. However, knowing that they were here, he had hope. Yue, have you met the king since you came to the devil world? Huaxiao asked. No, he still doesn't know that I'm here. Sima Yue said, in the past, when he came to find me, he would always bring me a gift. This time, I'm here to find him, so I have to bring him a greeting gift before I go see him. When Huaxiao heard this, he knew that she didn't come here casually. His eyes lit up. You want to take down Moon Liang's city? Sima Yue nodded. Ba Jiazi also told me that you guys have been having a headache over this place for a long time. I can't say that I'm confident, but I can still help. With you here, we can definitely do it. That's right. If you come, we won't be afraid of being punished when we go back. Huaxiao and Ba Jiazi had high confidence in her. They felt that if she wanted to do something, there was nothing she couldn't do. Sima Yue didn't expect them to trust her so much. She smiled and said, You two snuck here? If they hadn't snuck here, why didn't they have any powerful guards? They weren't ordinary people either. Huaxiao and Ba Jiazi looked a little awkward. Yue, you didn't tell the king that you came to the demon world, but you want to help him take down Moon Liang City. You want to give him a surprise, right? We won't reveal your information, but you can help us when the time comes. Ba Jiazi said with a smile. If you two are fine, your clansmen won't really blame you. Sima Yue didn't make things difficult for them. They were friends, so helping them out was no big deal. Thank you. Yue, you're the best. Ba Jiazi held her hand. When are we going to Moon Liang City? With the two of them, Sima Yue didn't have to go to the city to find out more information. They decided to change their route and go directly to Moon Liang City. However, Huaxiao's injuries were quite serious, so they called for flying beasts to rush over. He could also recuperate on the way there. Moon Liang City was now on high alert, but it hadn't reached the point of being sealed off. Perhaps the old man from the Demon Sky Wolf clan was stubborn and felt that no one could touch him. Sima Yue and the rest disguised themselves outside the city. Black Jade's fur was dyed with dye. Huaxiao was easy to do. He had always appeared in human form. Now, he just grew some fur and used Sima Yue's pill to change his aura. No one would recognize them. As for herself, she fused with me air and transformed into an appearance similar to Huaxiao. Hua Hua and the rest returned to the Spirit Pagoda for the time being. The three of them entered the city. The guards naturally questioned them. Sima Yue didn't need to say anything. She just followed behind Huaxiao and acted as a servant. Although Huaxiao wasn't as good as his brother, he was still able to deal with the guards after traveling for so many years. Thus, although they wasted some time, the three of them entered the city safely. If not for Sima Yue, they wouldn't have dared to enter. If they were discovered, the two of them would be captured. Ba Jiazi was the princess of the Black Jade clan. If she was captured, she would be used to threaten Ba Langqi. This wasn't a small matter to them. Even if nothing happened in the end, it would still affect their status. Now that Sima Yue was here, the two of them weren't afraid of anything. Chapter 2233. The three of them enter the city. In order not to attract attention, they strolled around the bustling streets like normal people and bought some herbs. Then, they went to find an inn to stay in. Once they were in the room, Sima Yue set up a barrier to prevent their voices from being heard. This place is indeed heavily guarded. I have never seen patrolling soldiers in a city before. Sima Yue thought about the few waves of patrolling soldiers she saw on the streets. Moreover, they were not weak. Furthermore, they used their divine senses to scan the city. She knew that this place was indeed a tough nut to crack. That's not all. The defensive array here is the best I've ever seen. Previously, when so many of them tried to attack it, they didn't even budge the defensive array in the slightest. Hey, you said, it's because of this defensive array that our people always return in defeat. The defensive array blocked Wu Lingyu's people outside. Even if they could not defeat them, they could hold on until reinforcements arrived. Defensive array. Sima Yue smiled faintly. Perhaps we can start from there. You want to break their defensive array? Easier said than done. Huaxiao and the rest had seen that array before. That time, so many people had not been able to break it. If they wanted to break it, it would not be easy. You two came here. It can't be just the two of you, right? Are there any of your people here? Or are you able to contact them? Sima Yue asked. When Hua Xiao and Heiyu heard her say this, they looked at each other and nodded. We left some people behind, but they are not very strong. Hua Xiao said. Mine too. Heiyu said. However, I know that some of the king's people have not left. Their strength is not bad. Not bad? Sima Yue rubbed her nose. Do the people over there listen to you? Heiyu and Hua Xiao shook their heads. They were not their people. Why would they listen to them? Yue, what are you trying to do? If they only relied on a few people to attack, they would not be able to do anything to the array. What was the use? Therefore, this was definitely not her intention. I don't want them to destroy the array, but I want to see what the array looks like first. Sima Yue said, It hasn't revealed itself yet, so I can't see what the array looks like. You want to attack from the array formation? Do you know array formations? Hua Xiao asked. As long as this array is activated, I will be able to study its array patterns. Sima Yue said confidently. She was originally quite accomplished in array formations, and she had learned so much in the Ghost Realm's hidden sect. She had thoroughly studied ancient array formations, so she was quite confident in this. However, when ordinary people came, Imo Tianlang, that old fellow, would not activate the formation. She had ancient war souls with her, but once they appeared, she would be exposed. Wu Lingyu would at least know that she was here. If he dropped what he was doing and came to look for her, it would mess up his original plan, and she would be more of a hindrance than a help. Heiyu and Hua Xiao pondered for a moment before saying, I'm afraid it won't be that easy for them to activate the defensive formation. Even if they manage to contact those people with their strength, it won't be time for them to activate the defensive formation. Let's think of another way. If there was no other way, they could only let the ancient war souls come out. Yu, I have an idea. Little Dream said from the Spirit Pagoda. Sima Yue called her out and said, What idea do you have? I can control a group of people to attack Yuliang City. Little Dream said, With my current strength, controlling a few powerful people is not a problem. Together with those people outside, I'm sure they will think that an army is approaching and activate the defensive formation. Sima Yue looked at Hua Xiao and Heiyu. The premise of this plan was that they still needed the help of those people. This will think of a way. Hua Xiao gritted his teeth. If they could break the defensive formation, then they wouldn't have to worry about not being able to attack this place. Therefore, even if they were to be punished, they had to think of a way to try. Then I'll have to trouble you. Sima Yue smiled. Be careful when you enter or leave the city. Hee. Actually, we don't have to go out. We have people here. It's just that we didn't plan to look for him before. Hua Xiao said, Let's go over now. Hua Xiao and Heiyu went out while Sima Yue waited in the inn. She released many scarlet bees to see if she could gather any useful information. Very quickly, Hua Xiao and Heiyu returned. Both of them had their heads down, and there was another person following behind them. Yue, this is General Ji. He's in charge of Yuliang City. Those people all listened to his orders. Hua Xiao said. Sima Yue looked at them and knew that they had not managed to convince this person. I'm Jizai. May I know who you are? Jizai sized up Sima Yue from the moment he entered. Although she looked similar to Hua Xiao, he did not think that anyone could order Hua Xiao around. Only then did Sima Yue know that Hua Xiao and Ba Jiazi did not reveal her identity. She wanted to say that she was one of Wu Lingyu's people. However, since this General Jizai was in charge of such an important matter in Yuliang City and could even cause Hua Xiao and Ba Jiazi to lose their spirits, it meant that his position in front of Wu Lingyu was not low. How could he not know Wu Lingyu's people? I'm Ba Jiazi's friend. I heard from her that the array here is hard to break, and this is a headache for you guys, so I'm here to help her. You can call me Siyu. Sima Yue said. That method won't work. Jizai rejected without thinking. Hua Xiao and Ba Jiazi were both anxious, but they were afraid of him and swallowed their words. Sima Yue was not anxious. She smiled faintly and said, No, you don't think that this method won't work. Otherwise, You wouldn't have come with them to see me. You're just here to see who gave them this idea. Do they really have the strength to break this defense array? Are they exaggerating? Am I right? Jise stared at her and did not answer her. Sima Yu didn't care and continued. You don't have to worry that I'm someone sent from the other side. For this matter, the main force is me and my underworld beast. Your people are just putting on an act behind us. Even if they don't succeed, they won't hurt your people. This is not an ordinary favor. Why are you helping us? Jise did not believe her. Because Ba Jiazi promised to bring me to see your king after this matter is done. Sima Yue found a reason that was not a reason. However, Jise did not think so. What else could a woman who wanted to see their king be after? Sima Yue had already been labeled as a social climber in his heart. He raised his head and looked at Ba Jiazi. Ba Jiazi nodded, indicating that what she said was true. She was their princess consort. After this matter was over, wouldn't she be going to see their king? This was not wrong. Chapter 2234. In the end, Jise agreed to Sima Yoyue's request because he had no other choice. He was ordered to attack Yuliang City. Seeing that Mo Lu had already sent out 1,000,000 soldiers and that he had yet to complete his task, he was extremely anxious. Hence, no matter what Sima Yoyue's motive was, he did not care as long as he could break this array formation. Since he had made his decision, he brought Little Meng out. He went to instruct the demon soldiers outside, while Little Meng went to find target. She and Sima Yue both knew that if she acted like this, the other party would definitely discover her aura. But she did this to tell the old man of Demon Sky Wolf Clan that she, the only survivor of the Nightmare Demon Clan, was back. She was back for revenge. One day later, Little Meng transmitted a message to Sima Yue, telling her to get ready. Not long after, they heard the sounds of an attack outside. As her strength increased, so did her beasts. Little Meng was already strong to begin with, but now she was even stronger. Among the people she controlled, one of them was actually a supremacy. The rest of them were not weak either. Adding Jise's men, their numbers did seem to be quite large. Demon Sky Wolf Clan's patriarch, Langya, did not panic at all when he heard that someone was attacking the city. Those people had attacked so many times, but none of them worked. But this city could not be destroyed by them. Otherwise, how could they answer to the Demon King? He instructed his men to activate the defensive array and then led his men to fight. The moment they left the city, Jise's men fled. This scene made the guards of Yuliang City unable to react. They fled so quickly. Were they just here to play? Only Demon Sky Wolf looked in the direction that those people fled with a dark expression. If he did not sense wrongly just now, his men saw that something was wrong with him and did not dare to call him. After a long while, Langya ordered his men to retreat. At the same time, he sent out his own clansmen, who were also his confidants. Sima Yue had been standing on the street the entire time Little Dream and the others had made their move. Huaxiao and Ba Jiazi stood on either side of her. No one dared to say a word for fear of disturbing her. Before the formation was turned off, Sima Yue told the two of them to go back to the inn. Then, she locked herself in the room and only opened the door a moment before Xiao Meng and the others came back. Yu, we're back. Xiao Meng's expression was not very good. She nodded at Sima Yue and stood beside her without saying anything. Sima Yue knew that Sima Yue was in a bad mood because she could not take revenge after seeing Langya today. Jise stared at Sima Yue and asked, "Can you tell?" Although they had retreated early, there were still a few casualties. If it was useless, then these people would have died for nothing. Fortunately, Sima Yue nodded. She waved the paper in her hand and said, "I've calculated the position of each formation stone. However, I've checked and found that each formation stone is guarded by someone. We have to quietly destroy the formation stones and not let them find out. Otherwise, it would be a waste of effort to replace them. Give me the location. I'll do it. I won't let them find out," Jise said confidently. Sima Yue told him the location and then asked him to send the news back after he succeeded. Then, they would send people to take over. Jise saw that she was so confident and frowned. Even if we break the formation, it won't be that easy to take control of this place. I'm afraid that the king will not send anyone to attack this place. It's okay. We don't need many people. We just need to find a few people to take over. We're not here to fight. Sima Yue said. Fighting a war and defending a city were two completely different concepts. The strength needed was also completely different. They only needed a few people to take charge of the situation and a few soldiers. How is that possible? Let's not talk about anything else. That Langya alone is enough to give us a headache. Not to mention, there are so many guards here. How can we take them all down? Ji Zhe was in disbelief. Don't you have so many people? Those people are enough. Sima Yue said, sometimes, when two armies fight, it's not about who has more people. We have to be smart. As for Langya, you don't have to worry about him. We'll take care of him. Speaking of Langya, her tone turned cold and her body emitted killing intent. Ji Zhe was a little shocked. Did she have some conflict with Langya? Hua Xiao, Ba, Jiazi, you two followed General Ji Zhe for the next few days. Sima Yue said to the two of them. If Langya found out about Little Meng, he wouldn't let her go no matter if the news spread. If Hua Xiao and the rest followed her, they would be in danger. We'll follow you, Hua Xiao said worriedly. Yuliang City was so dangerous. How could they leave her alone? No way. I have my own plans. You guys will delay my plans if you stay here. Sima Yue rejected them firmly. Ba Jiazi wanted to agree, but was suppressed by Sima Yue's gaze. She could only agree unwillingly. Although Sima Yue was a friend, she was also a princess. They couldn't disobey her orders. Ji Zhe looked at the three of them, and his brows furrowed even tighter. He brought Hua Xiao and Ba Jiazi out of the inn. Once they reached the place where he was staying, he asked, Who is that see you? Don't say that she's a friend. I still have some sense. Ba Jiazi and Hua Xiao's personalities weren't easy to talk to. Furthermore, it didn't seem like a friend's request, but more like an order. Ba Jiazi and Hua Xiao were stunned. She was the first to react, saying, She's my friend, but she's stronger than me. It's normal for her to be more forceful. Also, that's for our safety. Is that so? Ji Zhe looked at her deeply. I don't care who she is, but if she's up to no good, she wants to deal with Langya. Do you think she's up to no good? Hua Xiao, and I can vouch for her character. Don't worry. Ba Jiazi patted her chest and promised. At this time, someone sent news in. Seeing that Ji Zhe's expression wasn't very good, Hua Xiao asked, What's wrong? Is there something wrong with the war? No, news just came from there. It said that High Priest is coming to Yuliang City. It should be within these 2 days. Ji Zhe replied, What? High Priest is coming. Hua Xiao and Ba Jiazi shouted. They looked at each other and saw the fear in each other's eyes. Why would Han Yuan come here at this time? Shouldn't he be guarding the king? Not only them. Langya also received the news. Han Yuan is coming? This traitor has guts. Langya sneered. Go and make arrangements. This time, he won't be able to return. Chapter 22:35. Just as Langya finished making arrangements to deal with Han Yuan, the steward of the city lord's residence came in. Clan leader, the news has been sent back. To be able to call him that, it meant that this steward was also from the demonic wolf clan. Langya responded faintly. Clan leader, did you really feel the aura of the Nightmare Lord? The steward asked carefully. It can't be wrong. Langya said, If there is any aura that I will never forget, it can only be from the Nightmare Lord clan. He had personally participated in the incident back then. He remembered very clearly how the Nightmare Lord clan was exterminated. He had personally dissected that unkillable nightmare incubus, and he had even contributed to its suppression. How could he be wrong about such a familiar aura? More than 100 years ago, someone once sensed the aura of the Nightmare Lord in the city near the Blood Tunnel. However, it was only for a moment. There was no trace of her after that. The steward said, Will it be the same as the last time? It shouldn't be. She helped them attack the city, which means that she has already sided with them. Although I don't know who released her, I think she will not forget the hatred from back then. Since she knows that I am here, she will definitely not let it go. Clan leader. The Nightmare Lord clan was exterminated. If she comes back this time, I'm afraid she will use the power of the other side to take revenge. We should be more careful. The steward said. TSK, with her little strength, she wants to take revenge? Langa did not care about Little Dream at all. When she was suppressed back then, she was only a demon general. How strong could she be now? As for the possibility that she would use the power of the other side, what did he have to worry about? He could not wait for more of them to come and kill them to claim credit from the demon tower. Send someone to investigate. We must find her whereabouts. I will send someone to investigate outside the city. The steward replied. No, focus on inside the city. The people she found are all from inside the city. This means that she is in Yuliang City. No matter what method you use, even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you must dig her out. Yes. The steward replied and immediately went to make the arrangements. He had also participated in the incident back then. Naturally, he knew about the treasures on the Nightmare Lord. Previously, he could not withstand the pressure and agreed to suppress her in the Yilan continent. Now that she was back, how could they miss such an opportunity? In the past, no matter what they did, they could not kill her. This was the secret of immortality. Just this point alone was enough to make the entire continent go crazy. They had to find her this morning. However, no matter how they searched, they couldn't find Little Dream's aura. This made Wolf Fong and the others suspect that she wasn't in the city at all. When Hong Yuan had just arrived at Cold Moon Ridge, he had encountered an ambush. Fortunately, Hua Jing had brought enough people, so they had not lost their lives on the spot. However, half of the people he had brought with him had died as well. High Priest, we have to contact General Ji and ask him to send someone to pick us up, Hua Jing said, after cleaning up the mess. The fact that they were ambushed as soon as they arrived meant that the other party had been prepared and knew that they were coming. There would probably be many more attacks on the road to Yuliang City. Jizai had people there and had to protect Hong Yuan's life. Hong Yuan also didn't want to joke around with his life. It wasn't that he was afraid of death. The main thing was that after he died, it would greatly affect Wu Lingyu's momentum and give Mo Lu an opportunity to take advantage of it. Therefore, he could not die. He had to live. Previously, he had only sent a message to Jizai saying that he was going over. Now, he was afraid that he would send someone to pick him up. When Hua Jing heard this news, he couldn't help but mutter to Ba Jiazi, why didn't this high priest stay by the king's side? Why did he come here to join in the fun? Isn't this finding trouble for us? Ba Jiazi poked him and whispered, High priest is stronger than you, but the people sent to assassinate him are all based on his strength. He can't do anything about it. If he can't do anything, then don't come. He just brought my brother. Really? I think you're afraid that High Priest will come and settle accounts with us. Ba Jiazi sat on a chair and crossed her legs, not worried at all. I say, weren't you afraid of him before? Why do you look so calm now? That's because we have a backer now. Ba Jiazi said with a smile. With Yue here, don't worry. We won't be punished. Are you sure? Of course. Ba Jiazi said confidently. Plus, we're going to take down Moon's brisk city. After that, we need someone to guard it. Right now, everyone is busy dealing with the people from Mo Lu. He's the most suitable person. Normally, High Priest's whereabouts should be very confidential. How do the people from Wolf's Fong know about his whereabouts? I think there's a 90% chance that there's a traitor. Very likely. Let's wait for General Ji to come back and ask. However, if High Priest comes, Yue's secret can't be kept. That's true. When Sima Yue heard from Jizai that Hong Yuan was coming, she was stunned. When they first met, his aura was too strong, and he was full of killing intent towards her. She couldn't have a good impression of him. I've already destroyed the erase stone. Now I'm going to pick up High Priest. What are you going to do? To catch bandits, first catch the king. Of course, we'll start with Wolf's Fong. Sima Yue said, when you come back, he'll be gone. Are you confident? She had already seen Wolf's Fong and knew his strength. Even Little Dream could deal with him herself. Then I'll leave it to you. The most important thing for Jizai now was to protect Hong Yuan. To Wu Lingyu, Hong Yuan was much more important than Yuliang City. After he left, Sima US sent the Scarlet Bees to investigate. Just as she was about to find Wolf's Fong to settle the score, she found out that he had already left. Thinking of the news the Scarlet Bees sent back, she sighed. Forget it. Seeing that Ling Yu values you so much, I'll go and help you. With that, she disappeared from the spot. Although they sent news that Hong Yuan and Hua Jing were still approaching Yuliang City, they also suspected that someone had exposed their whereabouts, so they changed their route. The journey was rather peaceful, but they were still found by Wolf's Fong before they met Ji Zhe. Other than Wolf's Fong, there were a few other people. They were all elders of the Demon Sky Wolf clan and were very strong. Other than Hong Yuan, who could fight with them, and Hua Jing, who could barely hold on for a while, the others were almost crushed. To deal with me, you've really put in a lot of effort. Hong Yuan wasn't in a sorry state after being surrounded. Of course, I didn't expect that a traitor like you would come to my territory. I'll take your head to report to the king. Without you, I'll see how Wu Lingyu goes against the king. Chapter 2236. Hong Yuan coming here was an unexpected surprise for Wolf Fong and the others. This person was very important to Wu Lingyu. Because of his guidance along the way, Wu Lingyu could occupy so many ridges and go against Mo Lu. Now that they had killed him, it would be a great thing for them. Therefore, from the moment he got the news, he had been plotting how to kill Hong Yuan. Hong Yuan was different from ordinary diviners. He had obtained the inheritance of his ancestors and was very strong. It was not easy to deal with him alone, not to mention that he had people with him, especially when he changed his route. In order to catch him here, they had spent a lot of energy. When Hong Yuan saw the people brought by Wolf Fong, he knew that they were planning to kill him here. He did not talk nonsense with them and directly attacked. Hua Jing did not say anything about letting Hong Yuan go first because the other party's strength directly crushed them. Even if they wanted to clean up for him and let him go alone, he would not be able to go out. Now, he could only pray that Ji Zhe could bring people to rescue him. Wolf Fong's strength was about the same as Hong Yuan. He called an elder to go with him. The two of them dealt with Hong Yuan. It did not matter if they bullied him with numbers. Killing him today was the most important thing. It was okay to deal with Wolf Fong alone. Now that he had to deal with two people, he was really struggling. After holding on for a while, he was still hit to the ground by Wolf Fong's palm and rolled a few times. His long silver hair was stained with mud, and he looked a little embarrassed. High Priest Hua Jing saw that Hong Yuan was injured and wanted to support him, but he was entangled by several opponents and did not have the energy. Hong Yuan died. Wolf Fong condensed spiritual power, preparing to give Hong Yuan the final blow. High Priest. At this time, Ji Zhe rushed over with people. Seeing this scene, he teleported in front of Hong Yuan and resolved Wolf Fong's attack. The others joined the battle. Hua Jing's group came to Hong Yuan's side. Some more to die. Wolf Fong saw the people brought by Ji Zhe and did not panic at all. Even if they came, they could not save Hong Yuan. He opened a passage in space, and soon many people came out of the space. When Hua Jing saw those people, his pupils shrank. Wolf Fong actually made such a move in such a situation. It seemed that he was determined to destroy them today. Hong Yuan, your life must stay here today. Wolf Fong said. Not only him, but everyone on Wu Lingyu's side would die here today. Hua Jing and Ji Zhe were both Wu Lingyu's capable subordinates. If they killed all three of them today, Wu Lingyu would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Leave no one alive today. Once Wolf Fong gave the order, everyone attacked together. Ji Zhe's men were lacking in numbers. Even if they wanted to protect Hong Yuan, they wouldn't be able to do so. Alas, a sigh that shouldn't have been heard by anyone in this place where the flames of war were intertwined, but it drilled into everyone's ears. Wolf Fong was shocked. There was actually someone watching from the side, and they didn't know about it. Where did this person come from? Why are you peeking from the side? Who would she help? Hong Yuan and the others were also puzzled, but they were also secretly delighted. This person was definitely not on the other side, and she didn't intend to help them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have remained silent in this situation. Sima Yue had been watching here for a long time. She arrived before Ji Zhe. When Hong Yuan was in danger for the first time, she wanted to take action, but when she saw Ji Zhe arrive, she didn't do anything. She thought that she wouldn't have to come forward. Who knew that Wolf Fong would bring so many people to deal with Hong Yuan and the others? This time, she had to take action. She came out of the space. Hua Jing was surprised and happy to see her. Hong Yuan's eyes flashed with surprise, and Ji Zhe was shocked. But the three of them had the same thought in their hearts. It was her. Sima Yue glanced at them and didn't say much. With a wave of her hand, hundreds of ancient war souls came out and attacked Wolf Fong's people, rescuing Hong Yuan and the others. Because they didn't know who she was, after those demon soldiers were rescued, they all came to Hong Yuan's side to protect him. Who are you? Wolf Fong was more shocked than Hong Yuan and the others. He was about to succeed, but another person appeared halfway. The person who will kill you. Sima Yue said, I was thinking of a way to lure you out without alerting the people of Moonliang City. I didn't expect you to give me this opportunity. I have no enmity with you. Why do you want to kill me? Wolf Fong was very sure that this was the first time he met this woman, but the killing intent in her eyes was so strong that it could melt into water. You have no enmity with me? Wait until you see this person, you won't say that. Little Meng, after waiting for so long, it's time for you to take revenge. As soon as Sima Yue's voice fell, Little Meng appeared beside her. Seeing Little Meng, how could Wolf Fong not understand? He didn't expect to meet this nightmare at this time. Wolf Fong, you killed my people back then. Today, I want you to pay with your blood. Little Meng's hatred had been suppressed for too long. After saying this, she directly attacked Wolf Fong. If it was just Little Meng alone, Wolf Fong wouldn't be worried. How old was she? She had been suppressed for so many years. How could she beat him? He was worried about the hundreds of ancient war souls. However, he quickly realized that he was wrong. Little Meng's strength was not the same as when he first met her. She was clearly on par with him. She had only been rescued from the seal for 100 or 200 years. How could she cultivate to such a powerful realm in such a short period of time? Little Meng didn't give him time to be surprised. Every move was filled with killing intent. The hatred emitted from her body made one's heart ache. Thinking of the tragic situation of her people being killed, thinking of the suffering she had suffered, Little Meng's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. Every move was a killing blow. Her strength was about the same as Wolf Fong's, but he couldn't resist at all. Sima Yue watched for a while and was sure that she would be fine. However, she still called Mier out to watch over her. If anything happened, he would be able to save her. She descended from the sky and landed in front of Hong Yuan and the others. Are you all okay? She mainly looked at Hua Jing. Although his injuries were more serious, it shouldn't be a big problem. Why did you come to the demon world? When did you come? Why didn't you tell the king? Hua Jing asked excitedly. Ji Zhe was very puzzled. It seemed that Hua Jing was very familiar with her. He even said that she came to the demon world. Could it be that she wasn't from the demon world? Well, those people were all ancient war souls. She should be from the ghost world. The matters in the human world are almost settled, so I came over to take a look. Sima Yue's words made Ji Zhe's eyes widen. Human world? She was actually from the human race. Chapter 22:37. No, the king was from the human world, and this CU was from the human world. Hua Jing was familiar with her with respect. Could she be the princess? Hong Yuan glanced at Sima Yue lightly. That little girl had grown to such a height in such a short time. Thank you. Although he was unwilling to admit it, she did save them today. You are Sima Yue's princess? Ji Zhe finally couldn't hold back and asked. Yes, I hid it before because I didn't want you to know my identity and treat me differently. Sima Yue said apologetically. In fact, she didn't want to reveal her identity now, but with Hong Yuan here, she couldn't hide it anymore. The others were surprised to know her identity. They all knew about Wu Lingyu and naturally knew that he went to the demon world for her. They had been curious about her before, and now that they saw her with their own eyes, they couldn't help but look at her again. Han Yuan, I hope you won't telling you that I'm here, Sima Yue requested. Why? Han Yuan asked. In fact, he didn't intend to tell Wu Lingyu now. Do you still need me to say it? Sima Yue asked. She just glanced at him and stopped talking, flying into the air to look at Little Dream. High Priest, don't tell anyone about what happened today, Han Yuan ordered. The others agreed. Hearing Lang Ye's cry, they looked up and saw Little Dream put her hand into Lang Ye's chest. She pulled her hand back, holding Lang Ye's heart. That year, you tried to dig out my heart. Today, I'll let you taste the pain of having your heart dug out. Little Dream used her strength, and Lang Ye's heart broke into pieces. Lang Ye fell from the air. He thought he would definitely kill Han Yuan today, but he didn't expect it to be his death. It turned out that the feeling of having one's heart dug out was so painful. Today, I'm just repaying you for what you did to me. What your people did to my people, I'll pay them all back. Little Dream's voice lingered in his ears. The undisguised hatred annihilated his last bit of consciousness. After confirming that Wolf Fong was really dead, Sima Yue flew to Xiao Meng and hugged her. Yu, I really killed him. Killing Lang Ye heralded the beginning of her revenge. This is just the beginning. We will get back at them one by one. Sima Yue patted her back and said softly. Hua Jing looked at Little Dream and said to Han Yuan, High Priest, is it a nightmare? Wasn't their clan exterminated? Why are they still alive? The youngest princess of a nightmare clan, because she was born with something on her body that allowed her to be immortal and indestructible, she brought disaster upon the nightmare clan. However, she herself could not die. Thus, she was suppressed in the Yilan continent of the human realm. Later on, he found that she had been rescued by someone. She must have contracted it. In that case, the princess didn't come to the devil realm just for the king. No matter what, it's a good thing for us. Jizai said, with Wolf Fong dead, it would be much easier to deal with Yuliang City. Especially since she had so many powerful ancient war souls, it would not be a problem to take down Yuliang City. Han Yuan looked at Sima Yue. The moment he saw her, he knew that the variable that appeared in Yuliang City was her. Sima Yue comforted Xiao Meng and kept the ancient war souls. Then, she said, such a big commotion will probably attract people around. Let's leave this place as soon as possible. Can your people hold on? No problem. Even if they could not hold on, they had to hold on. Otherwise, it would be even more troublesome if they were discovered. Sima Yue could also see that, so they did not go far. After making sure that no one noticed them, they found a place to recuperate. While everyone was resting, Jizai came to Sima Yue's side and said embarrassedly, Princess, I have a presumptuous request. You want me to use the ancient war souls to take down Yuliang City? Sima Yue said. Jizai did not expect her to be right. He was stunned for a moment before saying, yes. I can't promise you. Sima Yue refused. Why? Aren't you the princess? Yuliang City is very important to the king. Don't you want to help the king? The king has done so much for you. Don't you want to do something for the king? Jizai was anxious, and his tone was not very good. Jizai. Hua Jing saw him getting angry at Sima Yue and scolded him. Did I say something wrong? Jizai did not give Hua Jing face and continued. She has so many ancient war souls. It's enough to deal with the people in Yuliang City. As long as we can take down Yuliang City, she can clearly do it, but she's unwilling. How can such a princess be worthy of our respect? No, Sima Yue said. Why? The ancient war souls are going to attack Yuliang City. In less than 2 days, Lingyu will know that I'm here. Sima Yue said, if it affects the war, won't I have to take the blame? Yuliang City is very important. Jizai emphasized. I know. I didn't say that I won't take it down. Sima Yue saw that Jizai did not believe her and explained, what I said just now was that we cannot use the ancient war souls to take down Yuliang City, but we can use other methods. You've already thought of other methods? Hua Jing asked. Yuliang City has many demon soldiers and powerful people. We don't have anyone. If we don't use the ancient war souls, I'm afraid it won't be easy to take them down. Don't worry. With all of you and the people who didn't come, it's enough. Sima Yue said confidently. You should tell us more. Hua Jing saw that Ji Zhe was still very anxious. He knew that if he did not explain clearly, he would not let it go. It's actually very simple. The powerful ones are their leaders. Once we take care of the leaders, the soldiers under them will be easy. Those leaders are not any weaker than Langya. I don't plan to fight with them. Sima Yue blinked. There are better methods. Why should we fight? You mean poison them? Ji Zhe was not a rigid general. He knew more than just war. I've thought of this method before, but I can't execute it. Without such powerful poisons, it would not be easy to get close to them and poison them. You don't have to worry about this. Sima Yue said, what you need to do is to bring your people to take care of those people. Then, you and Hong Yuan will control Yuliang City. I'm only in charge of the front part. I won't interfere with the later part. Hong Yuan heard her call him by his name and raised his eyebrows. In the end, he did not say anything. After resting for 2 days and recovering from their injuries, they immediately rushed to Yuliang City. At this time, Yuliang City was in a state of panic because of Lang Ye's death. Chapter 2238. News of Lang Ye's life tablet breaking only spread from the Demon Wolf clan a few days later. Everyone in Yuliang City was caught off guard. How could Lang Ye be dead? Didn't he bring people out of the city? He even said that he would bring back the head of his enemy in 2 days. How could he be dead? Many people came to the city lord's residence to seek confirmation. They had to believe it even if they didn't want to. We have to choose a new city lord as soon as possible. We can't let Yuliang City become a masterless city, someone suggested. We have to report this to the king first and let him make a decision. However, we can choose a representative first. That's the only way now. Thus, they called over all the people in the city. This was the most crowded city after the previous battle. However, the moment the acting city lord came out, he received news that Hong Yuan had brought people to attack Yuliang City. Again? Why did they choose to attack here? They probably know that the city lord is dead. That's why they chose this time. Do they really think we don't have anyone? An elder snorted. Open the defensive array. Let's go meet them. This elder was the acting city lord and was the most powerful among them. No one dared to disobey his orders. Thus, they all followed him to fight. They came to the sky above the city. Behind them were countless demon soldiers. In terms of numbers, they outnumbered Hong Yuan's men. With the array activated, the people in the city were not worried about being affected by the battle. They all came to the streets to watch the show. Ji Zhe looked at the bright array and whispered to Sima Yue, didn't you say that you broke the array? I've already done as you said. Could it be that they found out? Didn't you notice that the array is not as powerful as before? Sima Yue smiled. We have to make it look good. If they found out that the array was broken early on, wouldn't they be on guard? When you attack the array, you'll notice the difference. Ji Zhe was skeptical. He didn't see anything different about the array. These people don't look like they've been poisoned. Ba Jiazi stood beside Sima Yue and asked. She and Hua Jing had left the city when they received news from Sima Yue. Not long after, Yuliang City fell into chaos. It will take effect in a while. Sima Yue said the same thing. Both sides didn't have much to say. Hong Yuan didn't like to talk, so he waved his hand and the people behind him attacked them. Ba Jiazi and Hua Xiu were still a little nervous, but when they saw Sima Yue's calm expression, their hearts settled back down. They believed her. If she said that there would be no problem, then there would be no problem. Soon, they realized that something was wrong. It wasn't the other party that was wrong, but the people on their side were wrong. In the past, they would attack ferociously, but today they seemed to be dodging. It didn't seem like they were going to attack at all. Before he could ask the question in his heart, he saw the opponents who had been attacking ferociously just a moment ago suddenly fall one by one. What's going on? One by one, they collapsed to the ground. They wanted to mobilize the spiritual energy in their bodies, but found that they couldn't move at all. Not only those old fellows, but the demon soldiers also fell from the sky to the ground. Seeing this, Everyone on Hong Yuan's side was shocked. Although they knew that Sima Yue said that she was going to poison the other party, they didn't expect the effect to be so good. Those people were actually poisoned. Oh my god, they were all poisoned. Yue, your poison is too powerful. Ba Jiazi cried out in surprise. Even Hong Yuan's eyes flashed when he looked at Sima Yue. It wasn't that they didn't think of using poison, but they couldn't develop such a powerful poison. At most, it could only deal with those small shrimps. Moreover, the other party was very cautious. It was very difficult to poison them. Not only did she develop such a powerful poison, but she also poisoned everyone by herself. Yue, how did you do it? They look fine just now. Huaxiao asked the question in everyone's heart. This poison wasn't just used. When I came to Moonliang City, I started to poison those demon soldiers. They weren't very vigilant, so it was easier to poison them. As for these people, I poisoned them when they gathered to choose the temporary city lord. Sima Yue said, as long as you don't use spirit power, this poison won't have any effect. They used spirit power just now, which caused the poison to take effect. Now that they can't use spirit power and have no strength, it's up to you how you want to deal with them. She said that she was only in charge of the previous matters and wouldn't care about the follow-up matters. Now that she had done what she said, she didn't intend to participate in other matters. Jizai was very happy. He thought that Sima Yue was just saying it. He thought that no matter how powerful she was, she couldn't avoid a fierce battle today. Who knew that the process would be so easy? High Priest, how should we deal with these people? Kill them. Hong Yuan said indifferently. These people were quite strong, so it was impossible to recruit them. Once they recovered, they would be strong opponents. It was better to kill them directly. Jizai thought so too. Now that he received the order, he took a few people to kill those people. When the people in the city saw this, they were all stunned. However, it didn't panic. They still had the defensive array. The defensive array was so powerful that it could definitely hold on until reinforcement arrived. Unfortunately, the protective umbrella didn't give them any real protection because it didn't even last 2 minutes under Hong Yuan's attack. Seeing the array's light gradually dissipate, the people in the city were stunned. This array couldn't even withstand a single blow. The demon soldiers inside were also poisoned by Sima Yue. In addition, all the powerful leaders were killed. What else could the remaining shrimps resist? Later on, when the conditions were right, Hong Yuan and the others smoothly took over Yuliang City. Yuliang City, which had been a headache for many years, was taken over just like that. Their casualties were less than 1/10 of the previous time. When this news spread, it greatly inspired the people and made them more energetic to deal with the people in Mo. After Sima Yue entered the city, she didn't do anything else. Jizai went to rearrange the array and perfected the previous defensive array to make it stronger. The people who were used to protect Mo were now their protectors. When she returned to the inn, she found that Hong Yuan was waiting for her. You did very well. Hong Yuan said, these years, your growth is amazing. Thank you for the compliment. Sima Yue smiled. Chapter 2239. When was she going to find Wu Lingyu? She hadn't seen him for 2 years. She wanted to find Wu Lingyu as soon as possible. Previously, she wanted to avenge Little Meng. Later, she found out about the situation in Yuliang City. Now that Yuliang City had been taken down, she naturally wanted to find him. I originally planned to set up the array and go over. She meant that if he wasn't here, she might have already set off. I'll have someone send you over, Hong Yuan said. Sima Yue was a little surprised. She thought that he came to her for some other reason. She didn't expect that it was to send her over. No need, I can go over by myself. She wanted to go over with a small throne. It wouldn't be good if there were people around. Hong Yuan didn't know what she was thinking, but he said straightforwardly, you can't see him without me without alerting the king. Wu Lingyu was now the king. There were layers of guards around him. If she wanted to go to his side smoothly, it would be a little difficult. But you won't stay here. You can leave this place to Hua Jing and Jizai. Hong Yuan was a priest, not a city lord. Now that this place was stable, there was no need for him. Instead, he would send more people to guard this place when he went back. Since he said so, she could only stay with him and protect his safety. After all, he was still a very important person to Wu Lingyu. Ba Jiazi and Hua Jing went back together. It wasn't that they wanted to, but the two clan leaders wanted them to go back and be punished. Ba Jiazi wasn't afraid at all. She wouldn't be punished if she followed Sima Yue. Half a month later, Sima Yue followed Hong Yuan to Wu Lingyu's headquarters, the capital city. Standing outside the huge and magnificent palace, Sima Yue really felt that Wu Lingyu was the king of this world. Hong Yuan took her all the way to the main hall. When the guards in the palace saw Hong Yuan, they all bowed respectfully. Everyone was curious about the identity of the woman he brought back. In the main hall, Wu Lingyu was discussing the current situation with someone. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. Without saying anything, he disappeared from where he was, giving everyone in the main hall fright. Sima Yue also sensed him. Seeing him suddenly appear in front of her, she gave him a big smile and said, "Lingyu, I'm here." Wu Lingyu didn't expect her to really come. He stepped forward and hugged her in his arms. "Didn't I tell you not to come? Why aren't you obedient?" Sima Yue hugged him back and rubbed against his chest. "I missed you, so I came." In the past, he was always the one looking for her. Now, she was also looking for him. The people who followed him out were shocked to the extreme when they saw this scene. However, they all knew about the existence of Sima Yue. After all, Wu Lingyu was willing to give up his body to go to the ghost realm to find her. It was hard not to know about her. Other than her, there was no one else who could make Wu Lingyu act like this. That woman actually came to the demon realm to find their king. For a moment, everyone's thoughts turned 1,000 times. They really didn't want to admit that the princess consort was a human woman. Previously, when she was in the human realm, they could still pretend that they didn't know. Now that she was here, they couldn't think of how to face her. Wu Lingyu let go of her and held her hand instead. They walked towards the main hall and asked, "Why did you come with Hong Yuan?" "I came from Yuliang City," Sima Yue said. Wu Lingyu immediately understood what she meant and smiled. "I was just wondering how Lunar City, which we couldn't take down for so long, could be taken down so easily. However, you should have told me earlier. If I had told you, would you still be waiting for me here?" "The moment I arrived, I heard that Mo Lu sent millions of troops to attack you." Sima Yue understood him, which was why she hid it from him until now. "Besides, I went to Yuliang City to avenge Little Meng." The group of generals and clan leaders followed them back to the main hall. When they saw him bring her to sit on the throne, they restrained themselves and didn't say no. Hong Yuan sat down and said, "King, although Yuliang City has been taken down, we still need to send more people over. Mo Lu definitely won't let it go and will send more people to take it back. We're discussing this matter and thinking of who to send," Wu Lingyu said. Now was the time of war. Everyone wanted to fight and not defend the city. They discussed for a while and decided on who to send to Yuliang City. The general accepted the order and went to make the arrangements. Sima Yue sat quietly beside him and didn't interrupt. She actually knew a little about these people. Wu Lingyu had mentioned them when they were chatting, but she didn't have any intention of interfering. "High Priest, the news you sent back previously only said that Yuliang City was taken down. How did you do it?" Finally, someone asked. Hong Yuan glanced at the person who asked. It was one of the 3 female generals, the clan leader of the Demon Fox clan, Lung Yun. Seeing the unwillingness in her eyes, he knew what she was thinking. "We didn't take down Yuliang City. All the credit belongs to the princess consort," he said faintly. "You're saying that the princess consort took down Yuliang City alone? How is that possible?" Lung Yun didn't believe it and didn't hide her thoughts. Wu Lingyu wanted to say something, but was pulled back by Sima Yue. Sima Yue shook her head at him, indicating for him not to say anything. "Why is it impossible?" Hong Yuan asked. "We all know how difficult it is to take down Yuliang City. How could you do it alone?" Lung Yun's words were full of disdain for Sima Yue. Actually, she wasn't the only one who thought so. The others probably thought so too. It was just that they didn't say it out loud. Oh, you didn't see it with your own eyes. How can you be so sure? The princess consort is a human. It's hard for her to even protect herself in the demon world, let alone take down Yuliang City. Do you know who killed Lenya? Could it be the princess consort? Lungyan didn't believe what she said. Do you know why we were able to take down Yuliang City at such a small price? If we knew, we wouldn't be asking you. The person who killed Lenya was the princess consort's contracted beast, Hong Yuan said. And the reason why we were able to take down Yuliang City so easily was because the princess consort poisoned their generals. It was also because the princess consort destroyed Yuliang City's defense array that we were able to enter the city. The princess consort poisoned those people? How is that possible? There's no poison in this world that can poison them. You can't, but that doesn't mean others can't. Hong Yuan glanced at her. Jealous women were really ugly. In comparison, the little girl that he used to look down on was really pleasing to the eye now. Lungyan wanted to say something, but was pulled back by the people beside her. Others might not believe what they said, but this was the high priest. Who dared to not believe his words? Chapter 2240. After waiting for those people to leave, Wu Lingyu brought her to his palace. On the way, his face was dark and unhappy. When they arrived at his palace, Sima Yue hugged his waist and snuggled into his arms. She comforted him. All right, don't be angry. Why didn't you let me speak just now? Wu Lingyu saw her obedient look, and his voice was a little hoarse. However, he tried his best to look unhappy. I know you want to protect me, but she's your general after all. They're working for you, and you're reprimanding them. Although you're protecting me, it's inevitable that your subordinates will feel uncomfortable. Sima Yu's finger lightly poked his chest. It was clearly separated by clothes, but made his heart itch unbearably. My woman, if I don't even have the ability to protect you, I know. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? Sima Yue interrupted him. It's just that you still need to use them. It'll save you as much trouble as possible. Moreover, I don't care about that female general. I care about how the others feel. It was fine if a general was gone. However, if he scolded her, the other generals would definitely have thoughts. Compared to the princess consort who suddenly came from the human world, the former would naturally have a higher status in their hearts. Moreover, even if you scolded them, they still won't accept me. I'm not weak. You don't have to worry about these things. I'll handle it myself. Sima Yue didn't want him to worry about this. Before she came, she already knew that he was under a lot of pressure. When she saw him, she knew that he hadn't rested for a long time. Her heart ached. She didn't want him to worry about these small things. How long has it been since you rested? She pressed him on the bed. When he pulled, she threw herself on top of him. I didn't count. About a few months. A certain someone's hand started to move. So long. Sima Yue slapped his hand away. She took out a pill and stuffed it into his mouth. Take a nap first. No matter how difficult the situation is now, you can sleep for a while. Don't worry. Even if I haven't rested, I still have energy. Who told you this? Absence makes the heart grow fonder, not to mention that they had been separated for 2 years. This desire burned fiercely for the entire night. It wasn't until the next morning that he finally fell asleep with her in his arms. Sima Yue nestled in his arms and looked at his dark eye circles. She could not help but reach out to touch them. This guy kept saying that the demon realm was fine and that he didn't need to worry about him, but he made himself so tired. She sighed in her heart, found a comfortable position in his arms, and slept with him. Wu Lingyu was fast asleep, but when she moved, he unconsciously hugged her tighter and kissed her gently on the head. After Sima Yue arrived, Wu Lingyu did not appear for an entire day. This caused the generals below to have some complaints. Doesn't this Wang Fei know how difficult the situation is now? He actually did such a thing. The angry generals did not dare to go to the king, so they had to go to Priest Arun. They knew that Priest Arun could not stand these things the most. Hong Yuan just glanced at them indifferently. Do you know how long the king has not rested? The generals were stunned. The last time the king rested was a year and a month ago. Hong Yuan did not wait for their answer. You have been persuading the king to rest. Now that he is resting, why are you making such a fuss? The generals' faces turned red from Hong Yuan's words. They only thought that the king had rested for so long because of that human, but they did not expect that the king was already very tired. At this time, Sima Yue came over. She was the one who set up the enchantment, so she knew when they came. I know that you don't accept me. You think that I am a human and not enough to stand by Ling Yu's side. Sima Yue said, now I will give you this opportunity. Whoever wins against me, I will return to the human realm and not stay here to be an eyesore. Hong Yuan raised his eyebrows. This woman would actually do such a thing? Good. Remember what you said? Naturally. However, what I said doesn't matter what method is used. So if I use other methods, you have to accept it. You can do that. Why not? Sima Yue retorted. No matter if I use a divine weapon or poison or a ray, as long as I defeat you, it is my strength. Don't tell me that using poison to take down Yuliang City is not really taking down Yuliang City? The generals were rendered speechless by her words. She was right. Did it not count? Of course not. Then let me experience the princess consort's strength. Lung Yun stood out first. If I hurt the princess consort later, please forgive me. Sima Yue hid her strength. They did not know how strong she was. However, they all knew that she was very young. She was only a little over 200 years old. Her strength was definitely not strong. If she wanted to use other methods, they would let her use them. Otherwise, she would say that they bullied her. Sima Yue nodded. Come. The two of them flew into the air. Hong Yuan activated the palace's defensive array to prevent it from being affected by the battle. You are the princess consort and young. I will let you have 2 moves first, Lung Yun said. There is no need. Sima Yue displayed her strength. Her high paragon strength blinded their eyes. How is this possible? The princess consort was actually a high paragon. She was only 200 years old. She was actually stronger than them, who were 2,000 years old. Lung Yun did not expect Sima Yue's strength to be so high. However, she was also a paragon. As long as she used her methods, it was not impossible for her to compete with her. To have such strength at such a young age, she must have only cared about cultivation. This kind of person only had strength but no battle power. Very quickly, their thoughts were slapped in the face. Sima Yue did not have any battle power. Her battle power was even stronger than them who had been in the battlefield for many years. If not for the fact that Lung Yun was Wu Lingyu's subordinate, she would not have been able to last 2 minutes. Pah! A bolt of lightning struck not far from Lung Yun. It directly blasted a hole in the ground. Even after the smoke and dust dissipated, they could still feel the residual power in the air. Lung Yun was already injured by her. If this bolt of lightning struck her, everyone could not help but shiver. Sima Yue flew down. She did not look like she was in a sorry state after the battle. It was as if she had just flown in a circle. I said that you can use any method. However, General Lung did not seem to understand what I meant. It turned out that she was talking about using any method. It was funny that they thought she was acting shamelessly in order to stay. Thinking of this, they could not help but blush. Chapter 22:41. Lung Yun was defeated, completely defeated. Sima Yue's strength caused waves in everyone's hearts. No one dared to treat her with the same attitude as before. Ba Jiazi and Hua Xiao were attracted by the commotion and looked at her in confusion. Why were they fighting? Wu Lingyu had already woken up. After Sima Yue was done, he came to her side. He did not say a word, but the generals and guards present could not breathe. Only this once. He left behind a murderous sentence and held Sima Yue's hand as he left. Hong Yuan thought of the time when Wu Lingyu's soul fused with hers. He was willing to risk the failure of the soul fusion to break the contract so that she would not be hurt. This time, he did not punish them for the battle with Sima Yue because of their past friendship. He did not expect that Sima Yue's strength would increase so quickly. She was still so weak in the human world. In just 100 years, she had grown so much. Seeing that the generals were still in a daze, he decided to help them for the sake of the big picture. Huaxiao, tell them about Princess Consort's strength. He instructed. The Chinese had always been on good terms with Sima Yue, so they knew the most about her. When everyone else was fighting against Sima Yue, they collected a lot of information about her in the human world. Huaxiao had already asked the guard about the cause and effect, so when Hong Yuan asked, he understood that Hong Yuan did not want him to talk about Sima Yue's cultivation level. He wanted to talk about other things about her. Princess Consort is an alchemist, a poison master, an array master, a seeker spirit master, a beast tamer, a doctor, and even a weapon refiner. Huaxiao did not hold back. She is proficient in every single one of them. Don't forget that she was the one who poisoned those people in Yuliang City. She was also the one who destroyed and repaired the defensive array of Yuliang City. She was proficient in every single one of them. Huaxiao felt that this was not enough and continued. Do you know how she destroyed the array? It was very simple. First, she let General Ji's men pretend to attack the city, tricking Langya into opening the defense array. Then, she would experience it on the streets of the city. In less than an hour, she understood the array pattern of the array and figured out the location of each array stone. Tell me, who among you is as powerful as the Princess Consort? That's right. The Princess Consort is so powerful, but she treats us very well. She's always been approachable and low-key. If you guys hadn't gone too far, she wouldn't have done such a high-profile thing. Ba Jiazi echoed. The generals were rendered speechless by the two of them. Sima Yue followed Wu Lingyu back to the palace. Seeing her smiling eyes, Sima Yue used her other hand to poke Sima Yue's nose and said, "Naughty. You know that I'm not a person who would suffer losses. Why would I wrong myself?" Sima Yue smiled and said, "Now that the problem has been solved, you don't have to worry about me anymore." "I've never been worried about you," Wu Lingyu said. "Lingyu, why didn't you ask me about the children?" Now that she had some free time, Sima Yue remembered that Wu Lingyu had never asked her why the children were not by her side. "I know they're in the netherworld," Wu Lingyu said. Seeing Sima Yue's surprise, he hugged her and said, "Previously, I missed the children and wanted to know their situation, so I sent people to the human world to take a look. Then, I found out that they were not in the human world. Some time ago, I even took the time to go to the netherworld to see the two of them." "You actually want to see them?" Did the netherworld agree? Sima Yu looked at him in shock. When she saw him nod, her tears fell. She grabbed the lapel of his chest with both hands. "How is it, Little Knife and Yao Yao? Are they doing well?" Wu Lingyu reached out to wipe her tears and said softly, "They're doing very well. They're very obedient and sensible." The reason why he did not mention this to her was because he knew that she would definitely cry. Now that he saw it, it was indeed so. "The netherworld is so annoying. He didn't let me go, but let you go." Sima Yue was jealous that he could go to see the children. "If you go, you'll be sad." He comforted her. Xiao Dao and the others can already recognize people. The netherworld said that they have to look at your image every day before they're willing to sleep. Compared to them, I, as their father, am at the back. They didn't say anything about missing me. When I went, the two little fellows ignored me. Uffed. Seeing his aggrieved look, Sima Yue laughed. She rubbed her face against his clothes and left her tears on his clothes, taking small revenge on him. "I miss our little babies so much." "I miss them too." Wu Lingyu had never thought that he would have children one day, let alone that a small ball would affect his heart so much. "I'll definitely settle the score with the netherworld later." He didn't let me go. Sima Yue sniffed. "How's Xiao Dao now? Is she injured?" "She's fine. Her reaction is very fast." Wu Lingyu's heart ached when he thought of his daughter's appearance. However, he couldn't tell her this. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to take it. "What about Xiao Yao Yao? He's better than Xiao Dao. He knows how to take care of Xiao Dao now. When can I go and see them?" The netherworld said that when they're older and the molding process is over, he'll bring them back. The premise is that we have to solve all these troublesome matters first. Then let's deal with Mo Lu. Sima Yue now had a deep grudge against Mo Lu. If he hadn't hindered Wu Lingyu and caused so many problems for him, they would have been able to see their children. Previously, she only had the idea of accompanying Wu Lingyu, thinking that it would be good to deploy according to his rhythm. Now, her mentality had changed. She wanted to participate and help him solve this matter quickly. The sooner he solved it, the sooner he could see his babies. If Mo Lu knew that she had such a strong enemy because of this, he would probably be so depressed that he would vomit blood. They must have something to discuss with you, since they're here to look for you. I have to go back and prepare something. Wu Lingyu saw that she was acting mysteriously and didn't let her return to his bedroom. Instead, he asked her to go to the side hall to prepare and listen to the current situation. Sima Yue thought about it and nodded in agreement. She went to the side hall and asked someone to bring a table and chair over. Then, she lowered her head and started writing. When the generals came in and saw her writing in the side hall, no one had any objections. General Lung has already asked someone to take her away for treatment, Balanchi said. Let her have a good rest. There's no need for her to come if there's nothing urgent. Let General Ba take over her work, Wu Lingyu said. The subordinates knew that he was standing up for Sima Yue. She was the one who disrespected Sima Yue and even dared to fight with her. Although he didn't say anything previously, it didn't mean that he really didn't care. Chapter 2242. If it was before, Wu Lingyu would have defended Sima Yue and reprimanded the generals. They would have been angry. Now that he had dealt with Lung Yun, they did not have any other thoughts. After that, they reported the latest news on the battlefield and discussed some more about it. When they were done, Sima Yue came out from the side hall. She sat on Wu Lingyu's throne and handed the paper in her hand to him. I wrote these just now. Take a look and see if they are useful. Wu Lingyu looked through them, and his eyes lit up. Then, he gave the papers to the people below. Ba Lang Chi and the others took a few each and exchanged them. The more they read, the more excited they became. Although not all of these military strategies are useful, some of them are not bad. Huadi said excitedly, especially with the little tricks below, the effect will be better. That's right. Princess, how did you think of these? I've seen them before. Sima Yue replied. In this fantasy world, not all of the 36 stratagems would be useful, but since it was war, there would be some that would be useful. Her following little tricks were mainly to use poison, formations, and the like. She had done many of these before, but she used them to deal with a small group of people. Now, she was using them to deal with a large army. It's not that we haven't considered these methods before, but there are very few poison masters in the demon world, and their levels are not high, so we can only use brute force. Now that we have Princess Poison, this method can be used. Sima Yue shook her head. The poison I used last time is very difficult to refine, so it can't be used in large quantities. So we have to be careful when using this poison. Use powerful poison for high-level ones, and normal poison for normal demon soldiers. Mo Lu also caught a few poison masters from the human world, but because they don't have dark spiritual energy, they didn't develop any useful poison. Even though Hong Yuan was no longer at Mo Lu's side, he knew the situation there like the back of his hand. In terms of professional poison masters, the human clan had more advantages than the ghost clan and the devil clan. It was expected that Mo Lu would go to the human realm to catch poison masters. Well, it was also expected that it would not work. Sima Yue continued the meeting that had already ended because of the military strategy that she presented. Unlike the previous time, Sima Yue did not only listen but also occasionally expressed her own opinions. Although she didn't say much, she would always talk about the key points every time. It was impossible to tell that she didn't know anything about the situation in the demon world a few days ago. After the meeting, she once again plunged into the spirit pagoda and began to refine poisons day and night. She didn't even have time to accompany Wu Lingyu, which made Wu Lingyu very depressed. It was fine that she wasn't in the demon realm before, but she was too far away. Now that she was in the devil realm, she was right beside him, but they didn't have time to be together. Seeing her like that, he couldn't harden his heart to reprimand her, so he could only direct his anger to Mo. Therefore, they dealt with the other side even more ruthlessly. During the daily meetings, when the people below saw his gloomy face and heard his orders, they felt that he was dissatisfied. However, recently, the front line had been on a winning streak. With Sima Yuyua's poisons and the battle plans that she had devised, they had almost never lost a battle. Mo's morale plummeted. The millions of soldiers no longer had the same morale as before. Now, they didn't even dare to take the initiative to attack. When they thought about how this was all brought about by Sima Yuyue, they rejoiced in their hearts. Fortunately, they didn't really chase her away back then. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in such a good situation now. Hong Yuan thought of Yuliang City. Previously, Yuliang City was very important in his divination, so both sides spent a lot of effort on it. However, after taking it down, it didn't seem important anymore. Now, he understood that Yuliang City wasn't the most important thing. Yuliang City was the key to their victory not because of itself, but because of her appearance there. Mo's people were very sullen now. The situation was clearly good before, and the rebel army was forced to retreat. However, after Yuliang City was lost, the situation on both sides had completely changed. The people around Mo didn't dare to speak loudly recently, afraid that they would be noticed by the Demon King and be used as a punching bag. They could carefully avoid it, but some people couldn't. The people kneeling on the ground were pale and sweating profusely. Mo's pressure made them tremble uncontrollably, and they were about to collapse. On the throne, Mo's thin body exuded a cold aura. His long and narrow eyes had a ruthless look. His body was clearly very small, but no one dared underestimate him. You said that the rebel army took down 10 cities recently? Mo's slightly homophonic voice rang out in the silent hall. The people kneeling on the ground immediately collapsed, unable to say a word. Mo waved his hand, and the two people on the ground were squashed into a pool of blood. He stared at the people standing on both sides and said faintly, "Our situation was good before. Why did it become like this after I went into seclusion? Can any of you give me an explanation?" "King, we have already investigated clearly. The rebel army suddenly became so powerful because of one person. Although they were afraid, someone had to stand out. Because of one person? Are you trying to say that our loss is because there is one more person?" Mo's voice suddenly rose. He was very dissatisfied with their behavior of pushing the blame to one person. The people below all knelt down and hurriedly explained, "King, the rebel army's change is really because of one person. We have already investigated clearly. This person is the woman of the rebel army's leader, Wu Lingyu. She is a very powerful person in the human world." The person hurriedly told Mo about Sima Yoyue's situation, afraid that Mo would interrupt and punish him. After hearing the person's words, Mo waved his hand and said, "Wu Lingyu's woman? And a human? Do you want me to teach you how to deal with such a person?" The person was thrown to the ground, but he didn't dare to cry out in pain. He crawled back and knelt down, saying, "We have already sent people to assassinate her, but she has been hiding in her house. We can't do anything." That was Wu Lingyu's headquarters. There were many experts there. If Sima Yue didn't come out, they wouldn't have a chance to make a move. If she doesn't come out, then go in. Weren't there still people there before? I don't care what method you use. You must get rid of her for me. The people kneeling on the ground felt bitter, but no one dared to say no. They obeyed the order and left. Mo looked at the spacious great hall and laughed sinisterly. Mo Shah, do you think that just because you found a woman, you can win? You couldn't win against me hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now, you can't win against me either. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.